Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
King and Queen of the Pirates by Bleach Anime Fan 1. Once there was a legendary pirate by the name of Goldie Roger. Before he died, he had left a treasure at a place called One Piece. However, many pirates from all over the world has set sail to find it. Monkey D. Luffy and his twin sister Monkey D. Aya promised themselves that they will be the ones to find it and become king and queen of the pirates. Adios.
BWHAAH. As the merry speed down the reverse mountain, heading to the Grand Line, Aya, L and Zoro heard a low deep noise that sounded like it was coming up ahead. "Do you guys hear something?" Aya frowned. "Huh? What's that?" Nami spoke. "That groaning sound, didn't you hear it?" Zoro asked. "It was probably just the wind. At this speed, everything sounds distorted," Nami told them. Usopp looked through his goggles and spotted something large and dark on the path ahead. "What's that?" Usopp murmured. "BWAAH, Nami, I see a mountain up ahead," Sanji shouted, seeing it as well. "What? That's impossible," Nami shouted. "But it's right there, I can see it," Sanji exclaimed. The rest of the Straw Hats saw it as well, getting closer and closer as the ship continued speeding up. "Who cares, go," Luffy grinned. "But there should be nothing but ocean up ahead," Nami shouted at him. "What is it?" Zoro cried out. "It's a whale," Usopp cried out. At the end of the canal was a large black whale with large scar etched across its head. Its head stretched up from out of the water, almost reaching the sky. They were heading straight into it. "What are we gonna do?" Usopp shouted. "Should we fight it?" Luffy suggested. "How are we gonna fight a 100-ton whale?" Nami shouted at him. "Calm down. If this creature looks like a giant to us, then we must look like a speck," Sanji replied. "That's right. It's entirely possible that this thing isn't aware that we're here," Nami shouted. "We're gonna run right into it unless we change course. Look, we can get by on the left," Zoro pointed out. At the whale's left there was a small opening big enough for the ship to get around. "Port, hard to port." "The rudder's broken, in case you've forgotten," Usopp shouted. "Do something," Zoro shouted. He jumped down, along with Sanji, landing on the deck, running to help the sniper steer the ship. Aya and L quickly jumped down to help them as well. "Wait, I know," Luffy grinned and stood up. He ran past Nami and Ichi, heading into the crew quarters. "Luffy, what are you doing?" Nami shouted. "We're gonna crash," Ichi cried out, panicking. Zoro, Sanji, L, Usopp and Aya all tried to get the ship to turn, as they pulled back on the broken rudder. "This is pointless. The ship's not going to turn," L shouted. "Damn it. Don't give up," Sanji shouted. Nami's eyes widened in horror and dread. She couldn't move as she felt her feet completely froze in place as she saw the ship about to crash into the large mammal. "Is this the end?" Suddenly, a loud boom was heard as the cannon fired from the ship, hitting the whale. Nami fell back landing. "The cannon?" Everyone cried out. Their mouths dropped in shock. "That should slow it down," Luffy chuckled. The ship began to drift slower until the figurehead tapped against the creature. It snapped off, almost crushing Nami as it flew over her, falling onto the deck, inches away from the navigator. Luffy cried out as soon as he saw it smash in front of him. "Hey, that was my special spot," he yelled furiously. The whale made a low moan but still hadn't noticed the Mary below it. Nami sat up, gritting her teeth anxiously, trembling, as she stared up at the whale. "Damn! Let's get out of here before it's too late," Zoro shouted. The swordsman, Usopp, Sanji, L, Ichi, and Aya quickly grabbed the oars and started to paddle, steering the ship around the massive creature. "What the heck is going on?" Usopp shouted. "It's so big that the cannonball didn't even make it flinch. Its reaction time is very slow," Sanji pointed out. "At least we're alive," Zoro said. Then the whale let out a low ear-piercing roar. The crew covered their ears as they tried to get away. "My ears," Usopp cried out. "Just paddle," Sanji shouted. "Luffy?" Nami looked up to see the Straw Hat Captain glaring up at the giant creature, narrowing his eyes at it furiously. You think that you can just break my special seat and get away with it? Take this. Luffy threw back his fist and punched the giant eye of the whale. You moron! The entire crew cried out. The eye quickly moved down at the ship, spotting the crew on it. Yeah, that's right. I'm not through with you and there's a lot more where that came from, Luffy growled. Shut up before you kill us, both Zoro and Usopp shouted, kicking Luffy. But whales are supposed to be pretty docile creatures though. Aya spoke. Suddenly, the whale made a deep roar as it opened its mouth. Does that seem docile to you? Usopp shouted. The Mary was getting pulled into the whale's mouth by the strong currents. Please, stop. Nami cried out. As the ship was getting pulled closer and closer into the whale's mouth, Luffy lost his balance and fell overboard from the Mary. Luffy! Sanji shouted. The captain was plummeting to the water. Luffy quickly stretched his arm and grabbed onto the whale's tooth and hopped up, grabbing onto the side of the whale. This is not the end, Luffy shouted. The ship went down the creature's throat, swallowing it and the entire Straw Hat crew entirely. Luffy held on as he climbed up the whale and finally reached to the top of it. Finally, the whale stopped its assault and closed its mouth. Luffy panted as he tried to catch his breath and his eyes widened in realization. Aw man, everyone's been swallowed whole. He stood up, looking down at the whale, punching it on its head. Hey, you, do you hear me? Spit them out. Spit out my friends. Damn you. He continued to punch and kick at the whale, trying to get it to open its mouth. Then Luffy noticed that the whale was starting to sink slowly into the water, taking the Straw Hat with it. Where do you think you're going? You jerk! You give them back right now. Then Luffy noticed a small door on the whale. A trap door? He quickly climbed inside as the whale sank deeper, disappearing into the sea. Inside of the whale's stomach, the rest of the Straw Hats looked around to see where they were at. There was water surrounding all around the ship and the clouds and sky above their heads. In front of them was a tiny island with a small house, that appeared someone was living there. There was a small boat docked beside the house, clothes were hanging from the line, drying, and a folded up chair next to the house. So, what do you think? Nami asked everyone. I don't know what to think, Zoro replied. What else is there to think? We just got eaten by a whale, Ichi exclaimed. Is this even real? 'Cause I know exactly what I saw and what I felt. We were swallowed by the whale, Sanji replied. Is this a dream? Usopp asked. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair guess, Zoro answered. What's with this island and the house? Aya pointed out. Illusions. Zoro spoke. And that looks like, Ichi pointed out as he saw something coming out from the water. A giant squid towered over the ship, leering down at the crew. Nami and Usopp screamed. A great big squid. The two quickly ducked down for cover on the deck while Zoro, Sanji, Aya, L, and Ichi braced themselves. The creature lunged out at the ship, about to attack when a couple of harpoons shot out from the house, stopping it in its tracks. The squid fell into the water dead. Zoro saw someone standing inside the house, looking at the crew. Looks like someone's home, he murmured. Let's hope it's a person, Sanji said. Nami and Usopp were lying on the deck. Where's Luffy? Usopp whimpered. Yeah, where is he? Nami pondered as well, wondering where he was, crying as well. Luffy wandered around inside the whale, heading deeper in, seeing that he was in a long narrow hallway. I don't know about whales, but since when do they have doors and lighted hallways? Luffy questioned himself. We should fire our cannon, Usopp shouted. No, hold a sec. Someone's coming out, Sanji told him. The Straw Hats saw a strange old man step out from the house, revealing himself to them. He had a muscular body, his beard split in two parts. His lower lip was larger than his upper, bald at the top of his head with yellow flower petals tips while his white hair hanged loose in the back. He had glasses, a seaweed necklace, 3 gold bracelets along with a green gem bracelet on his left wrist and a scar on his left arm. He was also wearing a pink shirt with yellow and green stripe and purple circles and bluish-gray shorts and sandals. It's a, Sanji stammered in shock. Flower? Zoro added. No, it's a person. Sanji spoke. Are you sure? Usopp asked. That old man just killed a great king squid with one shot, Nami said in disbelief. The question is why? Is he trying to save us or was he just fishing? Sanji asked. The crew kept their eyes on the old man as he quietly walked past them, who was watching them as well. He stopped at his folded-up chair and laid down on it, ignoring them, reading his newspaper. "Are you going to say anything?" The old man silently turned his head back towards the crew. "Hey, you want to fight? We'll fight. We got cannons back here, you bastard," Usopp shouted. "You try it and someone's going to die," the old man told the crew. Usopp squeaked. "Yeah, and who's that?" Sanji asked him. "Me, of course," the man answered. Sanji twitched, irritated. "Excuse me, you," he growled. "Ease up there, cook," Zoro said. "That bastard's mocking us," Sanji shouted. "There's a couple of things that we need to know. Where are we? And who are you?" Zoro asked the man. "You got some nerve, stranger. So impolite. Introduce yourself before asking a question to someone you just met," he told the swordsman. Zoro blinked in confusion before making a small grin. "Fair enough, I'll go first. My name is..." The man cut the swordsman off, introducing himself to the entire crew. "My name is Crocus, and I am the lighthouse keeper of the Twin Capes, 71.5 years old, Gemini." "I'm going to kill him," Zoro growled. "Calm down," Sanji mocked him. "You like to know where you are? How dare you invade my personal private resort and order me around like a bunch of big shots? Besides, I thought that it was pretty obvious seeing that you were eaten," Crocus explained to them. "So, you're saying that we were swallowed by the whale? But since when does a whale's stomach have clouds in it?" Usopp shouted. "We've been eaten. What's going to happen to us? I don't want to be digested," Nami cried out. Crocus looked at the crew with a dead stare in his eyes. "Stop doing that," everyone shouted at the old man. "What's wrong? Haven't you ever heard of a running gag?" Crocus asked. "That was a gag?" Usopp questioned in disbelief. Then the old man pointed out. The Straw Hats turned and saw that he was pointing out towards a large iron door. Beside it was a long ladder, leading up to another door. "The exit's over there," he told them. "We can get out," everyone exclaimed in shock. "Something's not right here," Usopp replied and looked up. "Wait, look at the sky. Those seagulls, nothing's moving. They're painted on. It's a giant mural inside the whale's stomach." "It's a hobby of mine," Crocus replied. "You're not making any sense, you crazy old man," Usopp shouted, angrily. "Don't let him get to you," Zoro told the sniper. "If that is the exit, then we need to get to it," Aya replied. Suddenly, big waves began to form, rocking the ship, nearly knocking everyone down. "Ah, great. What now?" Sanji shouted. "It's begun," Crocus frowned. "Look, that's no island, it's some kind of ship, made of iron," Nami pointed out towards Crocus's small island. "Yeah, of course. 'Cause we're floating on a sea of gastric acid," Usopp shouted. "That means that a wooden ship wouldn't fare well if it stayed here too long," Zoro pointed out. "Hey, what's with this freaky whale? Answer me, old man," Usopp called out to Crocus. "He's very angry. These aftershocks are the result of him hitting his head on the red line," Crocus answered. "What?" Zoro, Ichi, and Sanji questioned. "That explains it, why he had deep scars on his forehead. Not to mention all the strange howling," Nami replied. "Why is he doing it?" Usopp asked. "It's because he's suffering," Nami frowned. "It's starting to make sense. So, what's the geezer doing here?" Usopp asked. "More than likely, he's trying to kill the whale from the inside," Nami replied. "What a despicable way to kill something," Usopp shouted, narrowing his eyes at Crocus. "That doesn't sound right," Aya frowned. "There's something else that's not adding up. Why kill the whale? What would he have to gain from it? The old man could leave any time if he wanted to." "Okay, we've solved the mystery of the whale. Now how about we found out a way out of its belly before it digests us?" Zoro spoke. "We have no right to judge the old man, nor do we need to save the whale. What we need to do is focus on how the hell we're going to get out of here," Sanji said. "I agree, I don't want to be digested," Ichi shouted. "We're never going to get anywhere if the waves keep charging like this. How can we escape if we can't even move?" Usopp shouted. "Our only choice is the paddle. Get the oars," Zoro shouted. "Whatever it takes. We have to find Luffy right away," Nami shouted. "I know that he's outside. I caught a glimpse of him from the whale's mouth," Zoro told her. "That old guy just jumped in," Elle shouted. "Is he insane?" That acid will eat him alive, Zoro shouted. Luffy screamed as he was bounced around falling down the hallway while the whale continued to slam its head against the mountain. So dizzy, I'm gonna hurl, Luffy cried out. He flew out of the hall, bouncing around some more and landed face first on the steel floor. He groaned sitting up and looked around to find that he was in a long tunnel of some sort. Then there was a low rumble and Luffy felt the floor beneath him began to shake. He felt himself slowly sliding backwards. Luffy quickly stood up and started to run trying not to fall, but he lost his footing. He screamed as he fell into the dark tunnel. Guys! Crocus just resurfaced. Usopp called out seeing Crocus breach out of the water and climbing up the ladder. What's he doing? Aya asked. Forget about the old man. Our focus should be finding a way to open these doors, Zoro replied. Luffy screamed as he continued to fall down the tunnel. His back was met with something hard as he slammed into it. It was a man dressed like a prince with a crown on his head. He was wearing a dark green suit with white frills, red scarf, and black shoes. On the side of his cheek was a tattoo of the number 9. The woman next to him had blue hair tied up in a ponytail, wearing a lime green jacket, purple striped shirt, white shorts and shoes. The three collided against the door behind them, falling outside. "Ah man! We're gonna fall into gastric acid," the man with the number 9 on his cheek shouted. The woman screamed as the three were flying in the air. "Luffy?" Zoro questioned, seeing the three. "Who are those guys?" Aya questioned as well. "Zoro, is everyone okay?" Luffy called out to Zoro. He cringed as he saw that he was getting closer to the water. "Zoro, I could use a hand." The three splashed into the water. "Looks like Luffy's not alone. Who do you suppose those two weirdos are?" Usopp asked. "Where did that old geezer disappear to?" Nami asked. "Forget him. We need to save Luffy," Zoro told them. Suddenly, there was a low bellow as it echoed through the entire room. Nami gasped when she noticed that the waves had slowed down a little. "I know that I don't speak whale, but it seems to have calmed down a bit." "Seems that way," Zoro replied, pulling Luffy out of the water. The other two people sat on the deck, glaring up at the crew. "Now, we've saved your life for the time being, but you better talk and make it quick." "Who are you people?" Aya asked them. "Mr. 9, these heathens are pirates," the blue-haired woman told the man beside her, ignoring Sanji who was sitting closely beside her, grinning. "That painfully obvious Miss Wednesday. But if we speak to their humanity and compassion then they should understand our plight," Mr. 9 told her. "You parasites are still here? I've grown the last time. As long as I draw breath you will not lay a single harmful finger on Laboon," Crocus shouted. Everyone saw him standing at the top of the ladder, looking down at them. He was glaring at the two people. "He's back again," Usopp murmured. "Who's the old guy?" Luffy asked. "You can't bully us into abandoning our mission," Miss Wednesday laughed, standing up. "We came here to hunt this whale and that's exactly what we're going to do," Mr. 9 replied, standing up as well. "And there's the answer. The old man's trying to defend the whale against these guys." Aya frowned at them. The two pulled out bazookas. "And this time we won't let you interfere. We're about to give this whale a new blowhole. Fire. Baby." Mr. 9 smirked wickedly along with his partner. The two fired their weapon at the whale. "Right. No." Crocus jumped out, in front of the cannons taking the blast, falling into the water. The Straw Hats gasped in shock seeing what he did. "He jumped straight into the line of fire," Usopp shouted. Miss Wednesday laughed. Aya frowned turning to her. "Your defiance is pointless. Go ahead, waste your time. And make no mistake, that hulking beast will make food for our town," Mr. 9 laughed alongside her. Aya growled and stepped over to the two, slamming their heads together. The two fell on the deck knocked out cold. Nami's and Usopp's mouth dropped open wide in shock. "Aya, why'd you do that?" Usopp exclaimed at her. "I didn't like them." The Straw Hats fished Crocus out of the water and returned to his island. The man and woman were tied up, still knocked out. "I hate to thank you for saving my life, but why did you do it?" Crocus asked her. "There was something about those two I didn't like," Aya told him. "Yeah, I didn't like them either," Luffy replied. "I was actually going to hit them as well before Aya jumped in." "Okay, I think it's time that we've got some answers. Who are these guys and how did you end up inside this whale? Nami questioned. These two are thugs from a nearby town looking for whale meat. If they caught him, Laboon could feed the townspeople for at least 2 or 3 years easily. Crocus explained to them. Now, I feel kind of bad for knocking them out, Aya replied, rubbing her head. Don't be. All they're concerned with is feeding their fat greedy bellies, he told her. Laboon? Nami asked. That's the whale's name. He's a unique and magnificent creature. An island whale, one of the largest species in the world that can only be found in the West Blue. I won't allow them to slaughter him for food. It's a shame that he's stuck here so far away from his domain. You see, there's a reason that he keeps hitting himself on the red line, he explained. There is? Nami asked. Crocus nodded. Yes, to put it bluntly. Inside Laboon's body beats the heart of a human. He has patiently waited and is eternally devoted to a certain band of pirates, for 50 long years. 50 years? Aya's eyes widened in surprise. Listen closely and we'll reveal to you Laboon's tragic story, Crocus told the crew. One fine sunny day, while I was fulfilling my duties as the lighthouse keeper, some good-natured pirates came down Reverse Mountain. They were followed by a baby whale, spry and chipper, whom I would soon come to know as the one and only Laboon. He is an island whale, one of the largest in the world. They are a rare species found only in the West Blue. Laboon had developed a bond with the pirates, traveling with them for much of their journey. But knowing the dangers of the Grand Line, the pirates chose to leave Laboon behind in the West Blue. But the stubborn little whale followed them anyway. As a general rule, island whales are social animals and travel together in family groups. I suspect that Laboon have somehow come to feel that those pirates were his family. The wear and tear on the pirates' ship was quite severe, so they stayed here for several months. In that time, I too come to form a close relationship with them. Thus, when the day of their departure finally arrived, the pirates asked me to look after Laboon when they returned from their voyage. That was 50 long years ago. 50 years? So, Laboon has been waiting all this time for his friends to return? Aya spoke. No wonder he's so upset. That kind of wait would drive anyone crazy, Nami replied. The Mary sailed in the tunnel following Crocus on his island as he led them to the exit. This is some canal. It's amazing that the whale is still alive with a hole like this in his body, Zoro murmured. I suppose you're responsible for this? Sanji asked the old man. I'm a doctor, Crocus answered. Doctor? Usopp asked. That's right. Legally certified. I also run a clinic on the Cape once upon a time. Before that, I served as the ship's doctor. Really? That's great. Then join us. We need a doctor, Luffy grinned. Don't be ridiculous. I no longer have that kind of energy. I've had my adventures. What kind of a doctor hollows out the inside of a whale? Zoro questioned. Maybe it's part of the treatment. Nami spoke. The girl is right. With a creature of this size, it's virtually impossible to treat it from the outside. Therefore, I devised a more drastic solution. Here's the exit, Crocus answered. He climbed up the wall and walked over to a lever, turning it. The metal door slid open and the Mary sailed out as it left the whale. Let's go, Luffy laughed. Don't you think 50 years is a bit extreme? Those pirates sure know how to test someone's patience, Usopp said. Idiot, don't you get it? This is the Grand Line. His friends are dead. That whale can wait forever, they won't be back, Sanji spoke. Sad to say, but that's probably true. Back in the day when those guys traveled the Grand Line, it was an uncharted sea. 1,000 times more treacherous than it is now, Nami pointed out. Why are you all being so pessimistic? You don't know that they're dead. They could still come back for him. Come on, have some sympathy, will you? I thought that it was very touching. I mean, a whale still believing a promise his friends made despite all of these years. That's a true bond, right, Pops? Usopp asked him. Indeed. But the lesson here is that reality is cruel. Laboon cohorts are dead. The truth is that they've abandoned their quest. I learned that they have turned tail and left the Grand Line, Crocus answered. I don't believe it. I mean, why abandon him like that? Usopp shouted in disbelief. You say that they ran away from the Grand Line. Do you know if they made it out of the Calm Belt alive? Nami asked Crocus. I can't claim to know exactly what became of them, but I doubt that they'll ever come back here ever again. Seasons, weather, currents, wind direction, on the Grand Line these elements seem to defy the very law of nature. Aya frowned in suspicion. Like something's keeping people out? She asked him. Crocus blinked as he stared at her in surprise. Ichi and Elle looked surprised as well at her words, so did everyone else. Luffy laughed. Well, if it is. Bring it on, don't be silly. It's just a dangerous and treacherous place to go. Nami assured Aya. Yeah, I mean, nobody has the power to do that. It's impossible. Usopp told her. So, what I got this straight what you're saying, these pirates were a bunch of cowards who appeared more about saving their own asses than keeping a promise to a friend, Sanji said to Crocus. Why would anyone want to abandon such a loyal creature? Just look at it, it's cruelty on a grand scale. Usopp shouted, angrily. But if you've known all of this then why haven't you told him? Laboon can obviously communicate with you. He seems to understand humans quite well for a whale. Nami asked Crocus. I did tell him. Down to the last miserable detail. That was the day that Laboon began to howl in Reverse Mountain. Soon after he began to slam his body against the red line. It's as if he believes that wall is what keeps his friends away and by breaking it, he can create a path for their return. He explained to them. Aya stared at the whale sadly. I admire his dedication. Sanji answered. He never gave up on them. Usopp spoke. He refuses to believe me cause then he has to admit that it's over. And that terrifies him more than anything. There's no way for him to go back to the West Blue. So, what we have is a paradox of tragic proportions. Laboon is a lost soul dying to live his friends but won't stop until he reaches them, Crocus replied. Tragic. Still for all of the grief those pirates put him through, they did the same to you by saddling you with their burden. I mean, you've done enough for Laboon, what about you? Sanji asked him. The scars on his hide are deep but those in his heart are deeper. He needs someone to tend to his wounds and I'm all he's got. For years, he's battered himself while I patched him up. Crocus told them. Suddenly, Luffy jumped off from the Mary, holding a piece of the mast in his hands. He ran up Laboon carrying it in his hands. What the hell is that idiot up to? Sanji hissed. Turn our back for a second and look what happens, Zoro murmured. Gum Gum. Do you think he's aware that that's our mast? Zoro frowned. Now it's on top of a whale. Sanji sighed. Why'd he do that? Luffy, stop tearing up the ship, Usopp shouted. The whale let out an angry deep wail and slammed his head down hard into the water, making a huge wave. Luffy, stop! Everyone shouted at the Straw Hat Captain. Laboon began to wildly thrash Luffy around as he tried to shake him off. Luffy hanged onto the mast refusing to let go. Then the whale jumped from out of the sea and headed head first straight into Crocus's lighthouse, crashing into it. The boy, he's dead, the old man cried out in worry. Don't worry, it'll take way more than that to kill Luffy, Nami reassured him. Luffy sat up with a smirk, seeing the whale back away, painfully, as blood began to pour from its head from the crash. Gotcha! Laboon dived straight at Luffy to attack him again. Luffy quickly dodged out of the way and jumped up, punching the whale in his eye. Laboon smacked Luffy away from him, knocking the captain into the lighthouse. Luffy quickly bounced off of it, heading back at the whale. What does he think he's doing? Usopp exclaimed. Laboon smacked Luffy back, sending him into the lighthouse again. Do you want to let us in on your plan or what? Zoro called out. Luffy's challenging him. I had told them. Everyone blinked in surprise then turned back to Luffy and the whale. Laboon charged at Luffy again to deliver another blow. Luffy stood up. It's a draw. Laboon stopped in his tracks, looking at Luffy in surprise. Luffy looked back up at him, smirking. I'm stronger than I look. But I have a feeling that you knew that. I can always tell when someone's itching to fight. If you want to battle, I'll gladly give you one. Your shipmates used to spar with you, and you miss them. I can rival anything that they threw at you. Tell you what, after me and my friends travel the Grand Line, we'll come be. And then you better be ready for a rematch. The whale stared at Luffy silently before it teared up and let out a long deep wail. Luffy grinned. Luffy grabbed a couple of buckets of paint and a paintbrush and painted the Straw Hat's Jolly Roger onto Laboon's head. Luffy grinned as he stepped back looking at his work. There we go, not bad if I say so myself. Consider this as a promise to come do battle with you. Of course. It's a rush paint job, so you'll have to be careful and avoid hitting your head or you'll rub it off. Understand? He asked. The whale grunted in response. Luffy grinned. Good whale. Everyone else was working on fixing up the Mary's damages when Usopp noticed Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday had disappeared, seeing their ropes lying on the deck in their place. Hey, where are they? Where are who? Oh, you mean those two weirdos. They must have escaped. It must have happened when we were distracted by Laboon. I wonder who they were, Nami said. Luffy hopped on board, helping out. His foot tapped into something and he looked down to see a small hourglass-looking object with a needle and picked it up. What's this thing? He questioned, looking at it. Nami gathered her maps and her compass as she was sitting by the lighthouse, looking over them to find the best route to take. Okay, I finally have some peace and quiet so I can work on a plan for the Grand Line journey. Sanji was in the kitchen starting to prepare up some lunch for everyone. He opened the ship's cooler, revealing the elephant tune inside of it. He grinned. Don't think that I forgot about you, elephant fin tuna. Usopp was fixing up the ship's mast that Luffy had torn off, placing metal sheets around it. Damn it. This is my life. Luffy breaks it and I have to put it back together again. Hey, get off your lazy butt and give me a hand. This ship isn't gonna fix itself. You know, he shouted angrily at the swordsman who was napping a few feet away from him. Need some help? Usopp blinked and looked up to see Aya, carrying some more metal. Ichi and L were behind her carrying some wood and nails as well. Thanks, he grinned. The four continued to work on fixing the mast. Usopp glanced over at Ichi and L, seeing Aya staring at them. Hey, why didn't you say anything to the old man about your condition? Maybe he could help, he whispered to her. I've been to enough doctors only to hear the same results. There's nothing that can be done, she told him. You don't know that. There could be a chance. Usopp, please just drop it. Aya quickly interrupted him. He blinked at her. I don't want to have hope only for it to be crushed again and again. I've accepted it. Well, I haven't, he told her, grabbing her hand. Aya stared at him in surprise. I'm not going to give up and neither should you. We need you. I need you. Don't throw away your dream. Aya chuckled. You're trying to make me cry, aren't you? She smiled, softly. Usopp stammered. No, I wasn't, I was trying to. Suddenly, everyone stopped what they were doing when Nami let out a blood-curdling scream. Do you mind? Keep it down. Luffy shouted. Sanji quickly jumped to where Nami was balancing several plates of food made from the fish on his head and hands. Is there some problem, my dearest Nami? If it's food you're worried about, say no more, he smiled. Did someone say food? Usopp called out, climbing up. I'm in. Aya climbed up along with Ichi and L, hungry as well. Also, wondering what has gotten Nami so upset. You idiots. The compass is broken. The needle just spins. It won't stop, Nami told them. Everyone walked over to the table, leaning in and saw that the needle was spinning wildly on her compass. Aya blinked in surprise. Oh yeah, you're right. Sanji spoke. I don't know about you but I'm getting dizzy, Usopp replied. Do you think maybe it's because of where we at? Aya pointed out. The girl is right. Everyone heard Crocus spoke. They looked up at him. It appears that none of you have the knowledge of how things work here. There's nothing wrong with your compass. The Grand Line has little regards for the rules of the sea. Common sense is useless in this place. The needle, why does it spin? Nami asked him. Because we are surrounded by a powerful magnetic field. The islands here are riddled with magnetic minerals which cause all sorts of abnormalities, throwing off the winds and currents as well. As a navigator I can assure you can appreciate this dilemma. Crocus explained to them. So then if we don't have a way to tell the direction, this whole trip is hopeless, Nami sighed. Yummy. Luffy was eating up some of the food, along with Ichi while everyone else was talking. I don't know what to say, we're screwed, Nami exclaimed. You're the navigator, so navigate us out of here, Usopp shouted. Will you just shut up for 5 seconds so I can figure this out? Nami shouted angrily at him. If you have any hope of navigating the Grand Line you're going to need a log pose to guide you, Crocus spoke. Log pose? I've never heard of it, Nami said to him. It's a special designed compass that can record levels of magnetism, he told her. Luffy blinked and reached into his pocket pulling out the hourglass object, holding it out. Is it something like this? He asked. Yes, exactly. Only a fool calling disaster would attempt to travel the Grand Line without one. Crocus nodded. Nami smiled. Understood. Excuse me for 1 second. So, she turned to Luffy and punched him in the cheek. Why didn't you tell me that you had one of those log things? I found it on deck, just laying there. Those two weirdos must have dropped it when they escaped, he replied. Did they? Nami frowned at him. Why'd you hit me? Luffy shouted, angrily at her. Felt like it, Nami told him. Oh, okay. Nami took the log pose from him, looking at it. There isn't a dial face on this thing. You don't need one. There's a special brand of magnetism that runs through the Grand Line Islands, completely with its own set of rules that makes it impossible to get around. By recording the levels of magnetism between two islands, you can charter routes from one island to the next. The log pose method is really the only choice, since the magnetism here creates huge problems from conventional navigation. Reverse Mountain is a great starting point. It produces 7 levels of magnetism, but it doesn't matter which one you chose to start with. Eventually all of them will pull against each other and form one route, and the island at the end of that route, Laugh Tale. The last destination in the Grand Line, its very existence was confirmed by the King of the Pirates, the only known person to have traveled the Grand Line in its entirety. Crocus explained. Laugh Tale. Aya murmured. That's it, that must be where the One Piece is hidden, Usopp exclaimed. That's the most prominent theory, but no one's been able to set foot on Laugh Tale Island since. Crocus replied. Luffy grinned. Don't worry, we'll know soon enough, he said. Crocus stared at him in surprise. Luffy sighed, his stomach now in content. Well, I'm satisfied. You guys ready to go? I am, Ichi replied. Everyone gaped at the two, seeing that the food was now gone. I told you that was for all of us, Sanji shouted angrily at the two. He even at the bowl, Usopp gaped. A log post. We have to take special care of this. It's the key to finding the greatest treasure of all time. Nami smiled. Look NG at the log pose. You greedy bottomless pigs. You ate the meal that I made for Nami and Aya. Well, I hope you left room for dessert. Sanji kicked Luffy and Ichi. Luffy was knocked back towards Nami, smacking into the log pose, shattering it, as he fell on the ground. Why is everyone hitting me? Luffy shouted angrily. Yeah, what did I do? Ichi shouted, holding his cheek. You two never think about anyone but yourself, Sanji shouted at them. Sanji. Nami called out to him. Sanji grinned, turning to her. Ichi cringed fearfully as he saw the angry look in her eyes. His feet as he got up and ran over to L and Aya. Yes. Both of you get out of my sight before I wring your necks. She kicked Luffy and Sanji, sending them flying into the sea. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the log pose work better when it's not broken? Usopp cried out, worried. Oh no, our log pose is ruined. Nami cried out. Maybe, you can fix it? Ichi asked. How can it be fixed? It's shattered to pieces. Nami shouted at him. Idiot. L replied. Calm yourselves. I will give you my own as a thank you for helping Laboon. Crocus spoke. The group turned to him. Laboon rose out from the water, dumping Luffy and Sanji back on the shoreline, along with Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine. Good, I'm not dead. Luffy replied. Sanji turned his head, seeing the blue-haired woman next to him. He grinned and quickly got up, helping her up. Hello, dear lady. Allow me to help you to your feet. Oh, thank you. She cringed but took his hand, walking away. We need a favor. Mr. Nine spoke, looking at Sanji. Sanji frowned, looking down at him. The three returned back to the lighthouse, meeting up with the rest of the Straw Hats. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday were kneeling down in front of Luffy, telling him their situation. Whiskey Peak. Huh, that's a funny name, Luffy murmured. So, what is it? Usopp asked them. That's where we live. We're stranded, Mr. Nine replied. How are you stranded? Where's your ship? Nami questioned them. Well, it was destroyed, Miss Wednesday told her. Asking us for a ride is pushing it, Mr. Nine, especially after you tried to kill the whale. Nami smirked at him. What's with the wardrobe? What are you supposed to be? Usopp asked. I am a king, Mr. Nine shouted. Nami frowned, grabbing his cheek. You're lying, we can't say, Miss Wednesday told them. She's right. You have to believe us. Our only motive here is getting home. We'd tell you everything that we could, but it's just that. Mr. Nine insisted. Mystery is our company's motto, Miss Wednesday replied. You see, we have to be mysterious, it's sort of a rule, Mr. Nine spoke. We have confidence in your characters, can't you give us a chance? Miss Wednesday asked. Aya hummed in suspicion, looking at her. You talk a little too formal for a normal person, she spoke. Miss Wednesday twitched nervously, tensing up. Please, we're begging you, give us some mercy, Mr. Nine interrupted. Don't do it. These two fools are dishonest to the core. They can't be trusted. Crocus frowned. But we can't just leave them here, Aya replied. They did just try to kill the whale, after all, Elle pointed out. Listen, I should mention that our log pose is broken and we don't have another one, so you still want to ride with us? Nami told the two. The man and woman gaped at her in shock. What? You broke it? That was mine. Those things aren't cheap, you know, Mr. Nine shouted angrily. Oh sorry, I forgot. Crocus just gave us his log pose, so. Nami smirked, mischievously. We are at your mercy, the two bowed down to her. It's fine, you can ride with us. Luffy spoke. The two blinked, staring at him in shock. You said that your home is called Whiskey Peak? Let's go there. Why? These two are obviously some pretty shady characters. Why would we take them anywhere? Usopp shouted. It's fine. Don't sweat the small stuff. We'll be alright, Luffy assured him. Choose your route carefully. Once you head out from here, you'll be committed to that course, Crocus said. That's okay. If we don't like it, we'll try a different route next time, Luffy grinned. I see. The old man smiled at him. He got up, hopping down from the rock he was sitting on, heading back to the ship. The others followed behind him along with Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday. Okay, it's time to get moving. Now that me and Laboon have an understanding, I can leave on a clear conscience, Luffy smiled. Just who on earth do you think you are, anyway? Miss Wednesday asked him. Me? Oh, I am the man who will become king of the pirates, Luffy told her. Everyone hopped on board the Mary, getting ready to set sail. Nami looked down at the new log pose on her wrist that Crocus gave her. Should be good to go. The needle should be pointing in the same direction as the map, he told her. It's pointing directly to Whiskey Peak, Nami smiled. See ya, Pops, thanks again for the log post, Luffy waved goodbye. Have a safe trip, Crocus called out. Bye Laboon. Aya waved to the whale. Get ready to fight when I get back, Luffy told the whale. Laboon gave out a low howl in response as if saying goodbye. Next stop, Whiskey Peak. Ready. Guys, let's set sail. Crocus and Laboon watched as they saw the Straw Hats sail away. Crocus smiled. I wonder. Luffy and his crew could be the very pirates that we've been waiting for. That one captain sure has a way about them. It's uncanny really. Wouldn't you agree, Roger? Snow slowly fell from the sky, covering the Mary as it sailed. Nami frowned in confusion watching it from the cabin room. She was wearing a jacket, earmuffs and a scarf to keep warm. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday were sitting at the table wrapped in blankets. Can somebody tell me why it's snowing? It was just hot and sunny a few minutes ago, Nami shivered. Perfect. It's all done. Look at who decided to drop in. It's Mr. Snowbarrel, Luffy grinned. He made a snowman with a barrel on its head, wearing a cape, with 2 stones for its eyes and sticks for its nose and arms. You amateur. You call that pathetic blob a snowman? Usopp smirked, shaking his head. What? Luffy asked. Behold, a sculpture inspired from the vault, the Snow Queen, Usopp grinned, showing off his large snow sculpture of a woman, that looked strangely a lot like Kaya, sitting on a rock with a seashell behind her. Whoa, nice, Luffy shouted. He punched his snowman, making the arm shoot out, destroying Usopp's sculpture's head. Usopp's eyes bulged out of their sockets. What do you think you're doing? The sniper shouted, angrily, upset that his hours of work was destroyed. He kicked Luffy's snowman's head, making the barrel fall on it, destroying it. Hey, you big butthead! Luffy shouted. Nami sighed watching the two bicker and fight, having a snowball fight and tossing large balls of snow at each other. How can those two be so freaking energetic in the freezing cold is beyond me. Nami, "Shall I shovel some more for you?" Sanji called out to her. He was wearing a scarf and gloves. Aya was helping him shovel as well. "Just keep going until it's gone," Nami told Sanji. "My pleasure," Sanji grinned. Ichi and L were helping them out as well, shovel off the snow. Ichi was mostly playing, tossing a few mounds at L. "Will you stop it?" L exclaimed. "Excuse me? Doesn't this ship have a heater? This environment is inhumane," Mr. 9 whined. "I'm cold," Miss Wednesday complained as well. Nami turned and glared at the two. "Shut your mouths. You're not guests here. If you want to warm up, then go shovel snow or something," she shouted, irritated. Suddenly, lightning struck in the skies and a strong wind started to pick up. Lightning, first snow, now lightning. What's going on with this weather? Nami frowned. "I've never seen anything like it. One minute, it's a cloudless sky, then next it's a blizzard. It's like the normal rule of nature don't apply. Just like Crocus warned us." "So what do you think? Ready to turn back yet?" Miss Wednesday smirked. "You and your friends have no idea how to survive this place." Her partner smirked as well. "I noticed that you haven't steered for a while. Is that wise?" Miss Wednesday pointed out. "I know where we're heading. I just checked it a while ago." Nami's eyes widened. She quickly looked at the log pose again, then let a scream. They were off course, way off course, going in the completely wrong direction. "What's wrong now?" Usopp asked. "She sounds mad," Luffy replied. "Don't be afraid, I'll save you," Sanji shouted. "What's wrong, Nami?" I asked her. "No way. Guys, make a hard turn 180 degrees, hurry," Nami shouted, urgently. 180? Why would you want us to turn back? Usopp questioned. "Did we forget something?" Luffy asked, confused as well. "The ship is turned around. We're sailing in the wrong direction. I only took my eyes off the log pose for a second. I thought that the waves were calm," Nami explained. "You're not a very good navigator, are you?" Mr. 9 chuckled at her. "You can't trust anything here, not the winds, sky, waves, clouds. Nothing is as it seems in the sea. The only way to get reliable direction on the Grand Line is with the log pose. Everyone knows that." Miss Wednesday laughed along with him. Nami growled, glaring at them. She grabbed the two and kicked them outside. "Shut your mouths and do something useful, instead of sitting around," Nami shouted, angrily, and ran out to the crew. "Thrust the yard, forward to wind starboard. Take the ship 180 degrees to the left. Usopp handle the sails. Sanji take the helm. Aya keep lookout, Ichi and L help Usopp and Sanji." Everyone scrambled quickly, doing their duties to maintain the ship. Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9 helped them as well. "This girl's crazy," Mr. 9 muttered in his breath. "Hey, wait! Looks like the wind's changed," Usopp called out. Nami looked up to see the clouds pulling away as the storm suddenly ended. The sun shined down, but the winds were still blowing harshly. "A spring gale," Mr. 9 spoke. "Are you sure?" Nami questioned. "Zoro, wake up! We're in a crisis," Usopp shouted at the swordsman, covered in snow, who was napping the entire time. "Hey, I think I just saw a dolphin jump out," Luffy grinned. "You keep quiet," Nami shouted at him. "The wind's getting really high and there's an iceberg ahead," Aya pointed out. The ship was on course heading straight into an large iceberg. "The fog's rolling in," L shouted. "This is crazy. What's going on?" Nami cried out in disbelief. "We're gonna crash," Ichi shouted. Sanji ran to the rudder to turn the ship. Aya quickly joined him, helping him push it. The entire crew screamed as the ship collided on its side into the iceberg. "Nami, water's coming in from the bottom," Luffy shouted. "Go patch it," Nami shouted. "Got it," Usopp called out, carrying some boards and a hammer. More clouds began to roll in, the sky turning dark. "The wind is picking up. Quick, we gotta hurry," Nami shouted. "No," Miss Wednesday's eyes widened in horror. "Pull in the sails. The wind is too strong," Nami shouted. Sanji came out from the kitchen, carrying a large plate of rice balls, setting it down on the table. "Everyone needs to eat to keep their strength up," he spoke. Everyone began to grab a few, while Luffy and Ichi munching down on the entirety of it. Sanji smacked the two on their heads. "Don't eat it all." One of the sails started to rip from the harsh winds. "Ah crap, the sail's gonna go," Usopp cried out. "Fix the leak first," Nami told him. "There's another hole below," Miss Wednesday called out. Everyone quickly ran trying to save the ship, maneuvering through the storm. Eventually, it began to subside and stopped, and the waters turned calm. "I feel well rested." Zoro stretched his arms, waking up. He stood up and saw everyone lying down on the deck, completely exhausted. "Come on, the weather's nice and all, but that's no reason to be lazy. You better be on the right track, that's all I can say." Sanji, Usopp, Nami, and L glared at him. "You bastard!" All four growled, angrily, under their breath. Zoro turned looking over at Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday when he noticed them. "What are you two doing here?" he asked. "You fool," Mr. 9 hissed. "We're on a side mission to take them home. A town called Whiskey Peak," Luffy explained to him. "Since when did we become a transport service for thugs? We don't owe them anything. Why did I even ask? So, tell me, what were your strange names again? Because I don't think you can be trusted." Zoro turned back to the two, leering down at them. Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday tensed up. My name is Mr. 9. He stammered. "I'm called Miss Wednesday," she told Zoro. Zoro smirked. Right now those names sound familiar to me, and that's what's bothering me. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I'm certain I heard them somewhere before. Or maybe not." Nami punched the swordsman on the back of his head. "You jerk. You think you can just sleep while we do all the work? You're lucky I didn't toss your lazy ass overboard," she hissed angrily. Zoro glared up at her. He gained a few more extra bumps to his head as Nami punched him. Zoro groaned, holding his head painfully. "Listen up everyone, there's no way to know what's going to happen next. After what we've experienced, I'm starting to know why they call this sea the Grand Line. My navigation skills are useless here and anything can happen, but mark my words, I will guide us through." "You sure about that, Nami?" Usopp asked her. "Without a doubt, we're going to see. And speaking of which, we're here. Our first journey on the Grand Line comes to an end." She smiled. Everyone saw an island up ahead with large cactus mountains as they sailed closer to it. "It's an island," Luffy shouted, excitedly. "Strange looking," Aya pointed out. "So, this is Whiskey Peak," Zoro murmured. "I've never seen anything like it," Sanji replied. "Whoa, those cactuses are humongous," Luffy shouted. "Actually, they're called cacti," L pointed out. "Who cares, let's go," Luffy shouted. "Thank you, but we must be leaving," Mr. 9 told the Straw Hats as he and Miss Wednesday jumped onto the railing of the ship. "It's been an interesting ride to say the least," Miss Wednesday smirked as she joined him. "Perhaps we'll see each other again someday." The two jumped off the ship, landing into the water, and quickly swam away. "That's a quick exit," Nami replied. "I guess we'll never know what they're up to," Usopp said. "Ah, who cares, we're landing," Luffy shouted. "Look, there's a waterway right up to the shoreline. Looks like we can go inland by ship," Nami explained. "I'm weighing the possibilities of monsters out there," Usopp shouted. "It's definitely a possibility. This is the Grand Line," Sanji smirked. "No problem. If we find monsters, we can just leave," Luffy grinned. "That's not true. According to what Crocus said, it's imperative that we stay on this island at least for a little while," Nami told them. "Why?" Aya asked. "The log pose needs enough time to record the island's magnetic field, so until that time we have to stay put. The log pose requires a different amount of time for each island. Some will take a few hours. Others may take several days," Nami explained. "D-days?" Usopp sputtered, nervously. "Suppose this island is crawling with monsters, but we'll get stuck here waiting. We'd be done for. What's the point of navigation coordinates if we're dead?" "We're staying," Nami insisted. "Let's not think about the monsters, if they are any. They're not even there," Luffy grinned. "As strange as it seems, I agree, there's no need to worry yet," Zoro nodded. "I think that we deserve a rest, especially after that storm. We should explore the island," Aya insisted. "Maybe stock up as well," L added. "Now that that's settled, let's keep going. I'll keep you safe, Nami and Aya," Sanji shouted. "Thanks, but I can handle myself, Sanji." Aya smiled at him. Usopp grew pale as he looked at the island. "I think that I'm getting sick. It's called I can't go on that island disease. You guys just go on without me." Aya stepped over to him and patting the sniper on his back. "Come on, it'll be fun." "That's easy for you to say," Usopp grumbled. "Alright, get ready and make sure that you're prepared to run as well as fight," Nami warned everyone, steering the ship into the canal. Fog rolled in, making it hard to see as the ship sailed deeper into the island. "I wonder what's out here," Aya murmured. "Please don't let us die." Usopp nervously looked around. "Huh? Something's moving over there," Aya pointed out, seeing some dark shadows on the cliffs and shoreline. "I see it too. There's a lot of them," Zoro confirmed. "Who are they?" Sanji asked. "Now be on your guard, everyone," Nami said. "Well, I may have to fight monsters, but at least I came prepared. Whoever's out there, I'm ready. Show yourself and face my wrath," Usopp shouted. Soon, everyone heard loud cheering as the ship continued to sail. The fog disappeared, revealing a rural town of stone buildings. Large crowds of people cheered as the ship sailed along the shoreline, cheering and waving flags at them. "Welcome to the Grand Line. Pirates, we're happy to have you here at Whiskey Peak." "They're cheering?" Aya murmured. El frowned, watching the townspeople. "Those aren't monsters, they're people, and they actually seem happy that we're here." Usopp smiled in relief, glad that it wasn't monsters after all. "What the hell's wrong with them?" Sanji questioned. "Pirates are always welcomed in our town," a villager shouted. "Hooray! For the heroes of the seas," another one cheered. "Ah yeah, I've never seen so many cute girls in one place," Sanji exclaimed, happily, eyeing the women. Aya sighed. "I guess some folks consider pirates as heroes, who knew? Man, I should have come here ages ago," Usopp thought to himself. He smiled and blew kisses, waving to the crowd. The Mary docked as it pulled into the port and the Straw Hats stepped out. In front of them was a large man. He stood along with the villagers, greeting them. He was holding a saxophone, had a small nose, with curly hair that looked like a powdered wig. He opened his mouth, singing like an opera singer as he cleared his throat to speak to them. "Welcome. My name is Igarapoy, and my honor as mayor is to welcome you to Whiskey Peak," he told the Straw Hats. "Well, that's great. I'm Luffy, nice to meet you." "Nice hair, I like the curls," Luffy grinned. "You'll find that this is the place that thrives on making liquor and music. Hospitality is a pride in our town. The smiles run long and the liquor flows as bountiful as seawater. Would you permit us to throw a party in honor of your honor, and tell your tales of adventures?" the mayor asked. "Yeah, we'd love to," Luffy, Usopp, Sanji, and Ichi shouted. "Idiots." Nami sighed. She walked over to Igarapoy. "By the way, how long does the log pose take to record this island's magnetic field?" "Log what?" "Such boring details we'll have to keep for now." He dismissed her question. Aya frowned. "And why is that?" she asked him. The man ignored her as well and stepped over to the two girls, placing his hands on Nami's and Aya's shoulders. El gripped his sword as well as Zoro, getting ready to unsheathe them. "Surely, you'll have to rest after your journey." Aya slapped the mayor's hand off of her. "Don't touch me," he blinked but shrugged it off. "Now let's prepare the party, sing and be merry. Let's entertain our guests." He walked the crew inside the bar. Night eventually came as the Straw Hats and the townspeople continued to party. Then I looked at them straight in the eye and I said, "Sea Kings, don't dare touch my friends or you'll have to answer to me." Usopp grinned as he told his story to a couple of the villagers. They all stared at him with awe and admiration. "Wow, you're amazing, Captain Usopp," a woman shouted. "You're a true hero," a villager cheered. "Don't hold back on my account. Please. Drink?" Igarapoy insisted, handing Nami a mug. "No thanks, I'm not drinking." Nami smiled, shaking her head. "Don't worry, what you have is a very special drink made by the very sweetest premium berries. It contains all the flavor of a fine wine but zero alcohol," Igarapoy told her. Nami took a sip from her drink. "You're right, it's delicious," Nami grinned. "We've had an extra great harvest this year. Now let's celebrate our traditional toast competition," the mayor shouted. "It's simple, make a toast and continuing drinking for as long as you can hold your liquor. Last person standing is the winner." "No thanks, you go ahead. I'd rather watch," Nami said. "I'll do it," Aya replied. Nami blinked at her. "Did I mention that the prize is 100 Baileys?" Igarapoy pointed out. Nami's eyes grew wide. "Count me in," she shouted. Zoro, stand up and join us. You need the money, don't you? A large crowd began to form around Luffy and Ichi as they wolfed down food in a competition with the cooks. A couple of women were crowding L as he was sitting at table drinking, eyeing him like a piece of candy. L cringed as he shifted in his chair uncomfortably. You got a girlfriend, handsome? One of them smiled. L looked away from them. I'm not interested. I'm not into that type of stuff. He brushed them off. All of them groaned, disappointed. But I do know that our cook is interested. Go bug him. Such a shame. One of the women sighed. It's always the cute ones. It's not fair. Another one agreed. They walked away meeting up with Sanji, who gladly accepted them in his arms as more women joined one. A villager sighed, collapsing on the table, next to Zoro who was still drinking. That girl is drinking them by the gallons, a villager exclaimed as Aya chugging down more mugs of rum. Unbelievable. The captain just ate a meal fit for 20 people. Another one called out. And the other guy is right behind him. Whoa, this pirate suddenly has all the girls at the same time. We don't stand a chance against these pirates, a villager exclaimed. This is truly a fulfilled night. It pleases me to see that you are all enjoying yourselves with such vigor. Igarappoi smiled before smirking. Oh yes, indeed. I'm quite pleased. I'm calling it quits. Zoro sighed, laying his head on the table. That one's finally done after drinking 13 mugs, a villager shouted. Oh come on, you quitting already, Zoro? You wuss, Nami shouted at the swordsman. It was just Nami, Aya and another woman who was dressed up in a nun sitting at the table. Only 2 left and they're women, a villager shouted. Nami felt her eyes starting to grow hazy. She placed her drink on the table. I'm out. I can't go on anymore. Go for Aya. The nun smirked at Aya, sitting across from her. My child, forfeit for your own sake, there's no grace. Aya smirked back at her. I appreciate the concern, sister, but I'm not quitting that easily. Luffy fell over in his seat, his stomach completely inflated and stuffed. More cooks fell down on the floor with him, exhausted. 3 cooks are down. A villager shouted. I'm out. The woman groaned, collapsing on the table. Aya grinned, raising her the air. Yes. Nami cheered along with the villagers. You did it, Aya. The prize money is mine. The 2 collapsed, laying their heads on the table, completely drunk, and went to sleep. Whiskey Peak, what a marvelous town. Usopp smiled, passing out as well. We've stumbled upon a paradise. Sanji grinned as well. One by one every Straw Hat member had fallen fast asleep as well as the villagers. They've worn themselves out partying and are fast asleep. Sweet dreams, brave adventurers. My how the cactus rocks gleam under the pale moonlight, beautiful as ever. Igarappoi said. He stepped out of the building, looking up at the moon and the strange cactus mountain above him. Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday were sitting on the roof above him. The 2 hopped down to the ground. As I may say, your poetic skills are beyond compare, Igarappoi. I mean, Mr. 8. Mr. 9 said to him. Igarappoi turned around, seeing the 2 behind him. Oh, you. He replied. So where are they? Miss Wednesday asked. They're fallen, straight to hell. Mr. 8 told them. Damn, my head's killing me. I'd never thought that girl could drink so hard. There was sleeping agent in their drinks strong enough knock out a sea king. I don't know how she withstand it for so long. But, at least she's finally out. So tell me, was it really necessary to put on such an elaborate show for those idiots? The woman wearing the nun outfit walked out of the bar, heading over to the 3. The woman pulled off the nun clothes, revealing a red and white checkered dress. I get nobody wants to hear me whine, but I just want to point out the amount of food that we've wasted, when we could have just ambushed them at the harbor. We're already short on supplies. It's not like anyone had high hopes for that whale meat or anything. She frowned, looking over at Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9. Well, why don't you try it then? We tried our best, you know, Mr. 9 growled. Calm yourselves, before you question my plan. You should see this. Mr. 8 told them. He pulled out and held up Luffy and Aya's wanted posters. All 3 mouths dropped in shock, seeing the posters. What the, $30 million Baileys, Mr. 9 exclaimed. Those morons, Miss Wednesday shouted. Don't be foolish, appearances can be deceiving. That goes for all of you. Mr. 8 told them. I'm sorry. The woman wearing the nun outfit told him. It's no matter. Our prey has been trapped and that's news the boss will enjoy. Now, confiscate everything of value on their ship. So what do we do with them now? Miss Wednesday asked him. Kill them? Mr. Nine asked. If they die then the bounty drops 30%, plus they want the girl alive. The government prefers to hold public executions. I need them alive. Mr. 8 explained. Sorry to interrupt. A voice called out to the four. Their eyes widened in shock and looked up at the building to see Zoro, along with L who was standing next to him. Do you mind letting my friends sleep? They had a long day and the journey was exhausting so I've been told. Mr. 8, Miss Monday. Two of them escaped from the room when we weren't looking, a man exclaimed, running out of the bar. They're right over there. Miss Wednesday frowned. Mr. 8 glared up at L and Zoro, narrowing his eyes at the two. Sneaky wretches, you could have stayed asleep with your friends. A good swordsman never makes a mistake of letting his guard down. Plus, I took a nap earlier, Zoro replied. I knew that something was off from the very beginning when we arrived here, L answered. Judging from all of the scowls and cheap disguises, I'm guessing you're all bounty hunters. Zoro pointed out. Your specialty is robbing drunk pirates who fall for hospitality. It's original, I give you that at least. There must be at least 100 of you, give or take. Weaklings. L smirked. Zoro smirked as well, standing up. And I'll fight all of you. Do you hear me, Baroque Works? He shouted. Every single one of the bounty hunters' mouths dropped in shock and horror. How do you know our names? Mr. 8 exclaimed. I was in a similar line of work once upon a time. Your company tried to entice me with a job offer. Naturally, I said no. Does the same rules still apply? Employee identities kept secret, cheesy code names, the boss's identity and whereabouts also a mystery? Baroque Works. The criminal group that faithfully carries out their orders, like herded sheep. Ha! That's some secret. Zoro told them. This is a surprise. If you know all of our secrets then we are left with no other choice but to kill you. And 2 more gravestones shall be added to the cactus rocks tonight. The entire mountains were filled with many unfortunate lost souls with tombstones, who were killed by the assassins. Mr. 8 ordered. Kill them. The bounty hunters' eyes widened when they saw the Zoro and L were no longer on the building. They disappeared. Miss Wednesday exclaimed. You guys are slow. The bounty hunters jumped, completely startled. Their eyes bulged out of their sockets in shock as they saw Zoro and L on the ground with them. The bounty hunters backed away from them. Who do you think you are? A bounty hunter shouted. Several more surrounded around Zoro and L, aiming their guns at the men. Fire! Zoro and L leapt out of range and jumped into the air, causing the bounty hunters to shoot themselves and others around them. One by one falling to the ground, dead. Incompetent morons. They just shot each other, Mr. 8 snarled, angrily. Yeah, and those pirates got away, Mr. 9 shouted. Just kill them. It's only 2 people. Mr. 8 ordered the rest. Suddenly, Zoro shot his sword through the bounty hunter's hair, inches from his neck. L grabbed Miss Wednesday from behind, pinning her wrists behind her back with his other hand, while placing his sword to her neck. Ask yourself, would 2 gravestones really be enough? Zoro smirked, standing behind Mr. 8. There they are now, a bounty hunter shouted and several more rushed in to assist their boss, getting ready to fire. I wouldn't do that, if I were you. L called out. Mr. 8 eyes widened. No, don't shoot. Don't shoot. You're going to shoot me. He cried out and quickly pulled out his saxophone. Leaning back, Zoro quickly ducked down as the man fired at the others, killing them. Miss Wednesday quickly raised her leg and kicked L under his chin, knocking him away from her. L and Zoro quickly ran taking cover behind a building. L hissed as he held his chin, painfully. The little bitch kicked Mount your whining. At least we got away for now. Zoro shushed him to be quiet. He peered out from the corner. So that thing he has is a weapon. We better be careful. These pirates might be able to actually pull off a fight. Mr. 9 spoke to Miss Wednesday. Are those 2 stupid to think that they could possibly fight all of us by themselves? What kind of men would consider challenging us after knowing that we're all with Baroque Works? Mr. 8 spatted, angrily. Inside of the bar, Nami, Ichi, Aya, Luffy, Sanji and Usopp were still sleeping. Luffy, Ichi, Usopp and Sanji were lying on the floor, while Nami and Aya were asleep laying their heads on the table. Nami smirked as she opened an eye, noticing that the coast was clear, seeing the bounty hunters were gone. So Whiskey Peak is really the home to a whole nest of bounty hunter? You know, I had a feeling that might just be the case. She sat up and reached over to Aya, shaking her awake. Aya, wake up. Aya groaned, sitting up, rubbing her eyes. Well, that was a good nap. Help me look around. Nami hissed at her. The two girls stood up, leaving the other 4 crew members on the floor as they searched the place. Those two couldn't have gone far. Let's find them, men, a bounty hunter shouted. Zoro and L heard them from their hiding place, searching around. Now's as good a time as any to test out my new swords. Zoro smirked, then turned to L. Are you sure that you're up for this? Like my brother and I said, we can handle ourselves, L replied to him. Then time to put those fighting skills to the test then, Zoro spoke. I got you two now. Zoro and L's eyes widened in shock, looking up above them to see a bounty hunter had found them. He aimed his gun at the two. Shit, L cursed under his breath. Zoro quickly kicked the door behind him and rolled inside the building. L rushed in just as the bounty hunter fired. The bullet missed and shot the ground where the two were standing. Zoro and L's eyes widened when they heard more guns clicking behind them as more bounty hunters arrived. Zoro quickly took cover behind a table while L ran to another one, flipping the tables up. The bounty hunters fired at them, unleashing a storm of bullets. Zoro unsheathed on of his sword and sliced through the table, darting out towards them, slashing them. The bounty hunters fell to the ground like dominoes. L grabbed a chair and tossed it out the window. The chair smashed into a couple of assailants, knocking them down. He ran out, following after Zoro. The two were pursued by more bounty hunters as they ran. Hold it. Guess they found me. Zoro smirked and stopped by a ladder, climbing up it. L jumped up, landing on the roof, just as Zoro reached the top. Zoro frowned, seeing L in front of him. How did you get up here so quickly? He questioned. L shrugged his shoulders. Jumped. They're coming your way. A bounty hunter shouted. Another one stood in front of L and Zoro, holding a bazooka. They're mine. He fired a cannonball at the two. L quickly stepped to the side, while Zoro leaned back. The cannonball exploded into another building behind them. Time to die. Several bounty hunters laughed as they started to surround the two. Suddenly, Zoro and L heard a yell coming from above them and looked up to see Miss Monday, holding a barrel above her head. She threw it at Zoro. Zoro quickly sliced the barrel into pieces. The pieces flew by and smacked into the 3 bounty hunters behind him. Oh, and that wine must have caused a fortune. What a waste, Zoro retorted, frowning up at her. Another bounty hunter approached Zoro with a hammer, swinging it down on him. L charged out and slashed him down just as Zoro was about to strike. Zoro froze, nearly attacking L by accident. Watch it, L hissed. Zoro gritted his teeth, looking down at his cursed sword. It's not my fault, it's this sword. It's got a mind of its own. He glanced down at the cursed blade. I know that you're sharp. But you're also a troublemaker, aren't you? A good sword only cuts when its master wants it to. Cursed or not, you're going to listen to me. Die. A small boy charged at the two with a knife in his hand. Zoro knocked it away from him. The boy fell back, looking at the two fearfully. A nun ran over, grabbing the boy in her arms. No, please have mercy on my little boy, I beg you, please, sir, have mercy on us, she pleaded. L and Zoro stared down at the woman and her lips turned into a smirk. The boy also smirked as well. Or try some blinding powder. The woman pulled out a cross and the boy pulled out a pistol, aiming at the two. Zoro and L hit them with the blunt ends of their swords, knocking them out. You be better off trying that cheap trick on someone who is more likely to fall for it, Zoro murmured. I can't believe children are involved in this as well, L frowned. Gotta make a living somehow, I guess. Zoro told him. Come on. The two climbed up some more ladders as more bounty hunters chased after them. The two jumped from roof to roof, escaping. More bounty hunters ran into the bar to try and cut off Zoro and L. They walked past the other Straw Hat crew members, stepping on Usopp and Luffy. The sniper groaned. sitting up with footprints all over his body. "Feels like someone stepped on me," he murmured tiredly and fell back, going back to sleep. In another room, Nami and Aya were looking around in the mayor's office, searching for anything valuable. "Find anything?" Aya called out to her. Nami shook her head. "Seriously, this is all the treasure that they have? This is a pathetic excuse for a bounty hunter's nest. Whiskey Peak is a useless town," she said, disappointed. "They have nowhere to run now." A bounty hunter laughed, seeing L and Zoro reaching a dead end from a building. He climbed up the ladder, only to be met with L, looking down at him. "Hello." L smirked and grabbed the ends of the ladder, tilting it. Zoro smirked as well. "Well, that was fun. See ya." L pushed the ladder down, knocking the bounty hunters off it. They fell onto more hunters below them. Zoro and L jumped off from the building, heading towards another group. "Look out! They're coming right for us," one cried out, pulling out his gun. "Shoot them." He tried to fire, but L smacked the gun out of the bounty hunter's hands with his sword as he and Zoro landed on the roof. Zoro smirked and pulled out another sword from his sheath. Two swords style. Hawk wave. Zoro quickly spinned around, slashing at the bounty hunter's feet, knocking them down. More hunters jumped down from the rooftop above Zoro, and LL watched in confusion as he saw Zoro slashing the roof before walking away. The hunters landed in the spot that the swordsman slashed on. "I wouldn't be standing there if I were you." Zoro smiled. L's eyes widened in surprise as he saw them fall through the hole. Then L noticed a shadow towering over Zoro. "Heads up," he called out. Zoro quickly ducked when Miss Monday swinged a ladder at the swordsman. "That was too close," he hissed. More bounty hunters charged at L, holding him back. He clashed against them trying to get to Zoro. "It was a good effort, but there is no man who can best me," Miss Monday spoke, putting on an iron knuckle brace on her hand. She held Zoro up by his neck. "Now you die, swordsman," and slammed Zoro down back on the ground and raised her iron fist to strike. Zoro's eyes widened and he his teeth, trying to break out of the woman's grip. She brought her fist down on Zoro's head, hard, creating a crater. "Well, we've wasted a lot of time, but at least we finally put an end to it. Now let's go." Mr. 8 spoke but stopped when Miss Monday let out a painful scream. His eyes widened in shock. "Miss Monday." Zoro held the woman up by her head, squeezing it. He had a large gash as blood ran down from his forehead. "What's the matter, muscle woman? Didn't you want to use your strength against mine?" he asked. Zoro felt the woman's grip loosen on his wrist. She fell back, collapsing on the roof, unconscious. "Guess she lost." Zoro heard a sword clang and looked out the remaining bounty hunters. "Not bad. I guess you can look after yourself after all." Zoro smirked at him, impressed. "You look like crap," L retorted. Zoro turned back towards the last remaining bounty hunters, looking up at them in disbelief. "Is that all that you can over, Baroque works? 'Cause you're really going to need to do a lot better than that." "Looks like you guys are next. Who's up?" L called out. "It can't be Miss Monday is defeated." "No," a bounty hunter cried out. "Now it all makes sense. The Marines must have made a mistake with that poster," Mr. 8 shouted. "It does make sense. I can understand why this guy would have a $30 million bounty on his head. He must be the real captain of those pirates," Mr. 9 replied. "Yeah, he must be." Miss Wednesday spoke. "But it's strange that those two weaklings would have such a high price. Even if this guy is the real captain, this is getting disgraceful. The boss put us in charge of this town and he's not going to be pleased if we lose to two measly pirates," Mr. 8 said. "Well then, looks as if we finally get to fight." Miss Wednesday smirked, looking up at L and Zoro. "Something that you may not know, in Baroque works the smaller the numbers are the greater the powers as well as their rank in the company. Take the two of us, Mr. 9 and Mr. 8. We are single digits, and don't forget Miss Wednesday. Our abilities are much greater than the rift raft that you've been fighting against so far tonight," Mr. 9 told them. "I find that fancy titles mean nothing when it comes to fighting. The strongest wins and that's it," Zoro retorted. Mr. 8 quickly fired at the two with his weapon. Zoro and L stepped away, backing up on the roof. "Let's go, Miss Wednesday," Mr. 9 shouted as her, "Of course, Mr. 9. She whistled with her finger. A large yellow bird, wearing a helmet, appeared, landing behind her. "Come here, Kuru." The bird held out its wing to her. "No, not shake. Now come here," Miss Wednesday exclaimed, furiously. The bird ran over to her and she climbed on. "Come on, Kuru. Show them how fast you are. Leave them in the dust." The bird sat down on the ground. "I didn't tell you to sit," she growled, smacking it on the head. "Is that a bird?" Elle asked. "Looks more like a duck," Zoro replied. "You get distracted so easily. How can you hope to follow my acrobatics?" Mr. Nine shouted at the two from across the building. Zoro and Elle looked up, seeing him. He flipped down to them, swinging his iron bats. Zoro and Elle deflected them away with their swords. "You better be careful not to chip your precious blades. What's the matter, are you too afraid to fight me?" Elle started to swing his sword wildly at him. Mr. Nine backed away from him, blocking his strikes. He flipped back but also flipped off the roof and plummeted down, crashing on the ground into a stand with a loud thud. "What happened to fancy acrobatics, huh?" Zoro retorted. "Oops." Elle deadpanned, looking over the edge, seeing the unconscious bounty hunter below. "Don't forget, I'm still here. Are you ready?" Zoro and Elle quickly turned around to see Miss Wednesday standing behind them. She smirked and pulled out a small bottle of perfume, spraying it. "Take a look at this. What do you think, bad boys?" She posed and started to swing her hips seductively. Zoro and Elle gagged at the smell of the perfume, falling onto their knees. "It stinks," Elle cried out. Miss Wednesday pulled out a small knife, spinning it on a string on her finger. "Good boys. And now become Slasher. Go Kuru," she ordered the bird, hopping to it. She charged at Zoro and Elle but ran past them. "You ran right past them." The two ran off the roof and fell down, crashing into the ground next to Mr. Nine. "Man, this fight is starting to get embarrassing," Zoro muttered. Mr. 8 fired his weapon at Zoro and Elle. The two quickly dived down into the hole that Zoro created. They slipped down through that hole. He hissed angrily. He peered down, seeing that they have disappeared. "Come back here, you pirates, and get a taste of how dangerous I am." Zoro and Elle quickly hide behind a building, taking cover. "That horn of his complicate things. How are we going to get close enough to fight?" Zoro murmured. Mr. Nine busted up from the shattered stand. He growled, looking at Zoro and Elle. "You may have won the first fight, but you won't get away this time. You're the one who jumped off the building," Elle retorted. Mr. Nine tosses a chain at Zoro as it wrapped around the swordsman's wrist. "What you going to do now, tough guy? Kick your ass," Zoro retorted. "Excellent work, Mr. 9 inches." Mr. 8 congratulated him. Mr. 9 chuckled. "Do it, Mr. 8. Come on, do it now, he won't get away," he called out to Miss Wednesday. Elle and Zoro looked over and saw her with her bird, along with Luffy, who being held hostage and was still fast asleep. "That's right, don't move. If you ever think about doing anything funny, you too, your friend here will be pinned and pressed," she threatened, holding a knife in her hand. "Well done, Miss Wednesday. It looks like there will be no escape for the swordsman this time unless he wants his friend to die," Mr. 9 laughed. "Damn it, Luffy. You idiot, can't he at least wake up when he's being held hostage?" Zoro hissed. "Preparing to fire. Firing squad. Ready?" Mr. 8 shouted as guns appeared from his hair, aimed at the two men. Elle moved out of the way while Zoro grabbed the chain, pulling Mr. 9 up in the line of fire. He screamed as he saw the cannonballs heading towards him. They exploded, knocking him out. Zoro pulled the chain, dragging the man with him, and tossed it over towards Miss Wednesday and her bird. Mr. 9 flew straight at them, crashing into them, knocking them away from Luffy. Elle ran over towards Luffy and jumped on top of him. "Gotta borrow your stomach, Luffy." He bounced up towards Mr. 8, who backed away, startled. Elle sliced his sword, taking him out. Zoro hopped up to the roof, using Luffy, meeting up with him. Elle fell to his knees, sitting down. "Finally, it's over," he sighed, tiredly. Zoro walked over to him, sitting down. "Now maybe we can get some peace and quiet," he replied. Luffy stirred and sat up, looking around. "Where am I? How'd I get outside? That's weird." He shrugged it off and went back to sleep, falling back on the ground. Suddenly, a loud explosion rang out. "Did you hear that?" Elle asked Zoro. The swordsman frowned. looking over in the direction where the explosion came from. "Can't die here. I have an important mission to complete." Mr. 8 groaned as he tried to get up. Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9 were next to him. "The three of you lost against 2 pirates? Now that's just sad." A calm voice answered. The 3 eyes widened in shock and they looked up to see a man and a woman in front of them. The man had dark skin, wearing black shades, puffy black hair in dreadlocks, wearing a brown trench coat with the number 5 on it. The woman next to him giggled. She had blonde hair, green eyes, carrying an lime green umbrella with blue stripes, wearing an orange and yellow hat, along with a yellow dress with lemon patterns and lemon earrings and white high-heeled shoes. "Mr. 5, Miss Valentine," Mr. 8 exclaimed in shock. "Really, you couldn't tell?" Mr. 5 asked. "Well, that's clearly the difference between our rank and yours," the woman giggled. "You came just to laugh at us?" Mr. 8 narrowed his eyes at them. "No," Mr. 5 replied. "We're here under the boss's orders." Miss Valentine smiled. "We can show you where those 2 pirates are at," Mr. 9 shouted. "That's right. Let's track them down and show them what Baroque works can really do," Miss Wednesday told them, nervously. "Seriously, Miss Wednesday. Stop with the jokes." Mr. 5 spoke. "We didn't come here to clean up your mess. You really think that we've come here from all the way from the Grand Line to hold your hands? Ha! You're even more pitiful than you look." Miss Valentine laughed. "Then what mission are you here for?" Mr. 9 asked them. "You mean you haven't figured it out? There are people here whose crimes against the company that are great enough that the bow with it. You see, someone uncovered the boss's secret and that's a crime punishable by death," Mr. 5 explained. "So, while we were searching to find out who uncovered the boss's secret, we've learned something." The woman smirked, gleefully. "It turns out a rather high-ranking individual from a certain kingdom has somehow infiltrated Baroque works." Nami and Aya were hiding behind a building after hearing the explosion. They frowned as they saw the strange group and listened in on the conversation. "Their kingdom? Wait, hold on a second," Mr. 9 shouted. "Now I may be wearing a crown but I'm not a king. I swear, it's just an innocent little hobby." "Shut up, you idiot," Miss Valentine shouted at him. "We mean the people from Alabasta. They're the ones who linked to the boss." Mr. 5 spoke. Mr. 8 stood up and fired his guns at the 2. "What's going on here? They're attacking each other," Aya whispered to Nami. "Does it look like I know?" Nami told her. "You will not lay a hand upon our princess, not while the captain of Alabasta's security still stands," Mr. 8 shouted, furiously. "You a captain of Alabasta's security and Princess Vivi Nefertari of Alabasta Kingdom. We have come here in the name of Baroque works to see that you both are eliminated," Mr. 5 shouted. Nami and Aya's eyes widened in surprise. "She's a princess?" Aya thought to herself. "This can't be good." Zoro replied. "Luffy's down there with them." Zoro and Elle looked down from the edge of the roof, seeing the 2 strange agents as they cornered Vivi and Mr. 8. Mr. 9 was lying on his stomach flat on his face, like a fish out of water. Luffy was still sleeping next to the 3. "Ah, damn it. Luffy's trapped down there," Zoro sighed. "Let's get him out of there," Elle replied. "You wait here. I'll go get him somewhere safer," Zoro told him. He hopped down, landing on the ground, while the group was distracted, waiting. "Go on, Princess Vivi, you have to escape," Mr. 8 called out to her and began firing at the 2 Baroque agents. Mr. 5 picked his nose and flicked a booger at Mr. 8, exploding as it made contact with him. "Igaram!" Vivi cried out to him, worried as she saw him fall to the ground. She tried to rush over to him, but Miss Valentine dropped down in front of her. She slashed at Vivi's hairband, missing her head. Vivi's long hair fell down, clinging to her face from her sweat. "Don't bother." Miss Valentine laughed. "Dirty monsters," Vivi shouted, furiously, at the 2 assassins. Vivi pulled out her knife weapon, swinging it around, trying to keep the agent away from her. "You mean you're really a princess, Miss Wednesday? Wow," Mr. 9 exclaimed. "Not now, Mr. 9. I'm busy," Vivi shouted at him. While the agents were distracted, Zoro quickly rushed out and grabbed Luffy, dragging the Straw Hat Captain behind him as he ran away from the group. L quickly followed behind him as he jumped away from the rooftops. "See ya," Zoro murmured quickly, escaping. "Princess Vivi," Igaram said, weakly. "Igaram," Vivi cried out to him. "Please, forget about me. You must get away from here, your homeland. If something happens to you then Alabasta will suffer. Please, princess, you must run," he insisted. "If you think that you can escape from us then you're mistaken," Mr. Five spoke. "Let's see if you can take me," Vivi shouted, spinning her weapon. "This whole princess thing is really confusing but we've been fighting together for a long time, so get going. I'm going to buy you some time," Mr. Nine told her as he stood up, pulling out his iron bats. "Thank you, Mr. Nine." Vivi smiled at him. "Bye-bye, baby." Mr. Nine charged at the two Baroque works agents about to bring his bat down on Mr. Five. Mr. Five flicked his bomb booger at him. It exploded and sent Mr. Nine flying back, falling into the river. "Oh no, Mr. Nine!" Vivi cried out. From a corner nearby, Zoro and L had seen what had happened. "Wait, hold on a second. Did that just come out of his nose?" Zoro questioned. "That's disgusting." L cringed. He felt something grabbing onto his ankle and looked down to see Igaram. "Hey, what are you doing?" L hissed, trying to shake the man off his leg. "Swordsman, I have a request and I need people with strength such as yours," Igaram shouted at Zoro and L. "Yeah, right. You gotta be kidding me," Zoro shouted. "Let go of me," L shouted. "Both of those people possess devil fruit powers and there's nothing that I can do to stop them, which is why I'm begging you now. Please, protect Princess Vivi of Alabasta in my place," Igaram told them. Vivi quickly hopped onto her bird. "Karoo, run!" Vivi exclaimed, urgently. Her steed quickly ran, trying to escape. "And off she goes," Miss Valentine smirked. "She won't get very far. Let's go, Miss Valentine," Mr. Five shouted. "Right behind you, Mr. Five," she shouted, following behind him as the two chased after the princess. "You'll be surely rewarded if you can bring the princess safely to our noble home of Alabasta Kingdom. I'm just a humble servant but I'm begging you to do this. Please. Protect the princess, I beg you," Igaram pleaded to Zoro and L. "Listen, I have no interest in money. I cannot help you," L told him. "My plan is to see this crew safely on this voyage. A few minutes ago, you were trying to kill us. What do you think I am? A fool?" Zoro shouted. "So, about this reward?" the two heard Nami's voice ask. Zoro and L saw her and Aya in front of them. Nami was sitting down on the roof, smirking, while Aya was leaning against the wall, with her arms crossed. "I'll take it. How does a billion Baileys sound?" "Did you two have fun?" Aya smirked. "Nami? Aya?" Zoro shouted. What did you say?" Igaram sputtered in shock. "I thought that you were asleep?" Zoro asked the two girls. "Give me some credit," Nami told him. She hopped down, landing next to Aya. "We were faking," Aya replied. "I mean, who in their right mind would go asleep in a town that welcomes pirates? It was all an act to survive," Nami explained. "Whatever." Zoro huffed. "Ah, you were protecting us. Thank you, Zoro, and you too, L," Aya laughed. "Shut up," Zoro growled. "Yeah, you could have helped, you know," L shouted. Nami turned to the man lying on the ground. "So why don't you go ahead and promise us that 1 billion Baileys reward, huh, Captain? Because if we don't agree to help your precious princess then she's probably gonna die," she told him with a smug grin. "I'm just a simple soldier. I cannot promise such an immense reward," he replied. "Surely you aren't suggesting that your princess's life is worth less than that, right?" Nami smirked. "Doesn't really play fair, does she?" Zoro murmured. "I can't promise anything but if you're willing to deliver the princess to Alabasta, then you'll have best negotiate the terms of the reward directly with her," Igaram told her. "Which means I have to save her first, huh?" Nami grinned. "Please understand, her life is in danger," he insisted. "Oh, alright. I'll go ahead and save your darling princess for now." Nami stood up, looking at Zoro and L and Aya. "Well, you three, go get her. Letting us do all of the dirty work, while you hang back?" I asked. "Screw that," Zoro shouted. "I don't take orders from you," L shouted. "If you want to make money, then fine, but you don't have to involve me in it," Zoro frowned. "Don't be stupid and stubborn. The money that I make is certainly mine, but the contracts that I land benefits all of us, can't you see that? Nami pointed out. Do you seriously think I'm buying that crap? Zoro hissed. Look, all you have to do here is put up a few bouts, Nami told him. Oh, really, is that all? Don't boss me around like you do that idiot cook, Zoro retorted. Oh, I see, you're just afraid that you're going to end up losing to them, Nami taunted. Luffy stirred as he woke up, walking away from the group. You want to try saying that again, you greedy brat, the swordsman growled, growing more irritated. You're a big baby who's afraid of losing to 100 guys. Will you shut your mouth, right now? Zoro shouted. Did you forget, you still owe me some money from a while back? Nami told him. What? I don't owe you anything, Zoro sputtered. Yeah, you do. I lent you 100,000 Baileys for some swords in Logia Town, Nami pointed out. And I gave you the 100,000 back right away. Someone gave me these swords, so I didn't even need your stupid Baileys, Zoro shouted. Maybe so, but you agreed to pay me 300%, bringing your total to $300,000 Baileys. And you agreed to it, you still owe interest, Nami said. I gave you the 100,000 back the same day. You can't really expect me to pay you interest? Zoro exclaimed in disbelief. Sure can, Nami replied. Zoro tensed up. Come on, can't you even keep one little promise? Zoro gritted his teeth. Now just do what I say, and I'll consider calling us even, she smiled. Someday you're going to die a horrible death, he hissed under his breath. Oh yes, and I'm sure I'll go straight to hell. Nami brushed him off. Damn woman! Zoro shouted, angrily, running off to find the princess and the two agents, while Aya and El followed behind him to make he didn't get lost. Thanks, you three. Nami waved goodbye. Shut up! Zoro shouted at her. Then Nami heard Igaram spoke. She looked down at him. Such a shame. If I had been stronger, I could have protected Princess Vivi like she deserves. He gritted his teeth in frustration. Oh, she'll be fine. He looked stupid, but Hammy told him. If anything were to happen to Princess Vivi, the kingdom of Alabasta will be. It would be done for. Nami frowned when she saw his face grew paler and his eyes turned more serious. She must escape, she has to. Vivi quickly ran as she rode on her bird steed. Run quickly. Run, Karoo. There's a ship docked right behind the cactus rocks. We're going to take an escape from this place. And then we'll be on our way to Alabasta, Vivi shouted. Luffy sighed as he finished relieving himself in the river, zipping up his shorts. Much better, now back to the... Luffy paused as he stopped. His eyes widened in shock as he saw multiple bodies of the bounty hunters lying on the ground defeated. What the hell happened here? He exclaimed. Hurry, Karoo! Vivi shouted. Suddenly, an explosion went off in front of her. Vivi's eyes widened and she quickly pulled back on the reins, making the duck stop. Karoo, stop! She saw a shadow walking through the smoke, heading towards them. Oh no, it's Mr. 5. They found us. Hurry, Karoo! Move! She urged her steed to run in a different direction. Miss Valentine sailed down with her umbrella and landed on a pile of stacked boxes. She laughed as she watched the two fled. It's kinda cute that she's trying. Mr. 5 laughed. As Vivi ran, she saw Miss Monday step in front of her, holding a long log in her arms. Miss Monday. Vivi stopped as she cried out. Go on, you can reach the ships through here. I'll stay here and hold off the others, she told Vivi, pointing behind her. You sure? Vivi asked her, unsure. Miss Monday walked over to her, looking at the two agents. After losing to those two swordsmen, we're all going to be punished for failing our mission anyway. At least if I do that, I can go down while helping to protect a friend. Well, what are you waiting around here for? If you get killed or captured, Mr. 8 and Mr. 9 will have sacrificed themselves for nothing. Now get going, she shouted. Vivi felt her eyes starting to burn, not wanting to leave. She turned her head, urging Karoo to run. Thank you, she whispered, softly. First, Mr. 9 defective and now you, Miss Monday. Mr. 8 frowned. I am not going to let you pass because I made a promise to a friend, she shouted at him. That's adorable. Miss Valentine laughed. Mr. 5 quickly charged at Miss Monday. You are an utter disgrace, he shouted, furiously. Miss Monday tried to strike at him with the log. Mr. 5 quickly dodged it and slammed his arm into the woman's neck, knocking her off of her feet. In the name of Baroque works, an explosion went off from his arm. Vivi stopped in her tracks, looking behind her in shock and horror, seeing the two engulfed in flames. No, Miss Monday. How could they? That's why they call me the Bomb Man. You see, I can make any part of my body explode from my bomb fruit powers. There hasn't been a single mission that I failed to complete. Mr. Five explained, completely unharmed from the blast. Vivi heard Miss Valentine laughing above them. She looked up to see the agent flying with her umbrella. And that's to the kilo fruit power that I possess. I can bury that traitor Miss Monday into the ground forever. I can change how much I weigh whenever I want. Right now, I'm light enough to be lifted up by a slight breeze, but I think it's time to start gaining weight. 5 kilograms, 50 kilograms, 100 kilograms, 500, 1,000, 10,000 kilograms. She dived down faster, faster, and plummeted straight down to the ground where Miss Monday was. She smashed into the woman's body, slamming into the ground. Vivi gasped as she watched in horror. Miss Valentine stood up, smirking at her. So do you really think that you can escape from us? You don't have a chance getting out of here in one piece. Mr. Five spoke. Vivi bit her lip, glaring at the two. I will survive. I will escape. I will make it back home to Alabasta Kingdom, she declared at the two. Mr. Five picked his nose. Take this. He flicked the booger at her. Zoro quickly jumped down from the rooftop, landing in front of Vivi. He drew his sword and quickly diverted the bomb away, cutting it in half. Explosions went off in two directions behind him and Vivi. Mr. Bushido! Vivi cried out in surprise. Who is this clown? Mr. Five murmured, looking at Zoro. Ew! I just cut someone's snot, Zoro cringed in disgust. I don't have time for this, don't you ever give up, Vivi shouted at the swordsman, pulling out her knife weapon. She brought it down to attack Zoro but L slashed the rope, knocking it away. Vivi's eyes widened and she gasped in surprise, seeing him and Aya standing beside her. We're on your side this time. L spoke. Vivi blushed before it quickly disappeared. What, do you really expect me to believe that, she hissed at him. He's right. We're here to help, so just calm down, Zoro spoke. You're helping me. Vivi gaped in shock, looking at the three. Yeah, and you better pay up once this is all over. That's the deal, okay? Aya winked at her. Vivi's mouth dropped a little more, even more confused. I don't even know you people, she shouted. Tell me, Baroque works, exactly what kind of company is it? Nami asked Igaram as she sat down on a barrel, waiting. It's a secret crime syndicate. It specializes in assassination, espionages and bounty hunters. The company is so secretive that none of its members know the boss's name or face. But they will still communicate with the boss's commands. Igaram explained to her. I don't get it. Why would any rational person listen to some big boss whose identity they don't even know? Nami questioned. The ultimate objective of Baroque works is the creation of an ideal nation. And anyone who does well within the company will be guaranteed high social standing within this nation. This is the promise that drives them to blindly follow, he replied. Now that makes more sense. Nami murmured. The agents all have numbers and code names. The boss's code name is Mr. Zero. The closer an agent's number is to zero, the stronger and more skilled they are. The higher their future standing will be. The agents from Mr. 5 and above are especially powerful, Igaram explained. The two Baroque Works agents smirked, seeing Zoro, L and Aya in front of them. I take it that you two are the swordsmen that beat up all of the lowly employees, who were stationed out here, Miss Valentine asked. Why would you want to protect the Princess of Alabasta? Mr. 5 asked as well. Let's just say that I have my own reasons, Zoro spoke. He's in debt. L replied. Shut up, Zoro hissed at him. Well, one way or another, we're going to have to eliminate you. As for you girl, you're going to be coming with us. Mr. 5 pointed out towards Aya. I don't know what you want with me, but I'm not going to make it easy for you. Go ahead and try, Aya told him. Ah, what a shame. Miss Valentine laughed. Mr. 5 chuckled evilly as well and picked his nose, getting ready to flick another bomb. I found you. Everyone heard a loud voice roar out. Zoro smirked, seeing Luffy. Zoro, L. What is it now? Vivi exclaimed. Luffy, thanks for coming, but I got this one unless that greedy brat dragged you into this too? Zoro grinned. You two are going to pay for what you did. I'll kill you, the Straw Hat Captain shouted enraged. What on earth are you on about? L frowned, confused. What kind of nonsense have you gotten into your head this time? Zoro shouted at him, confused as well. Shut up and get ready. 'Cause I'm about to kick your ungrateful little asses all over the place, Luffy shouted. You ungrateful? Zoro sputtered. That's right, everyone here was nothing but nice to us. They welcomed us and threw us a party and gave us food, and both of you repaid them by cutting them all up with those swords of yours, Luffy shouted. Luffy, you idiot, there's more that you don't know, Aya shouted at him. She's right, a whole lot, L added, agreeing. Just shut up and fight me, Luffy shouted. I'm not going to fight you, you dumbass, L told him. This guy's just a compleard. You're right about that, Aya spoke. And now they're fighting amongst themselves, how pathetic, Mr. Five smirked. If we wait long enough, maybe they'll kill each other, and we won't have to bother with them. Then we can get the girl, Miss Valentine told him. Luffy, hold on. Can you just listen for me for 1 second? They were actually… Zoro tried to calm Luffy down to explain. Luffy bounced towards him, throwing his fist back. Save it, Luffy, Zoro screamed. He quickly moved out of the way as Luffy slammed his fist down into a pile of rocks where the swordsman was standing. Are you trying to kill me? Die, Luffy shouted. Zoro twitched his eye, staring at him in disbelief. Luffy threw back his to attack the swordsman again. Zoro quickly flipped out of the way as Luffy smashed against the boulders. Damn it, stop, Zoro hissed. Luffy threw his head back to headbutt him, but Zoro hopped out of the way. Luffy slammed his head against the rocks, shattering them. He's gone crazy. Luffy, stop it. Can't you do something? Vivi asked Aya. When Luffy's like this, he's not going to listen. It's best to let him go apeshit until it blows over, Aya told her. Well, Mr. Five, it looks like those two are busy beating each other up to cause us any trouble, Miss Valentine spoke. So why don't we leave those two idiots to the fight while we do the job that we were sent here to complete? Eliminate Princess Vivi of Alabasta Kingdom and capture Aya, Mr. Five told her. Zoro quickly dodged out of the way as Luffy started to repeatedly throw his fists at him. Shall we, Miss Valentine? Yes, Mr. Five, Miss Valentine shouted. Quit screwing around, damn it. Zoro kicked Luffy back, sending the Straw Hat Captain, bouncing him straight into the two agents, taking them with him, crashing into a building. You dumbass. Now you and your friends have really managed to get in the way of our plans, Mr. Five growled. What happened? What's going on? Miss Valentine spoke. Since you two want to kill each other so badly, we're gonna do you a favor. We'll kill you both ourselves, Mr. Five replied. Luffy glared up at him. An explosion rang out, destroying the building. Miss Valentine jumped out, flying into the air, looking down at the group. Now, I'm really annoyed. I hope you're ready to experience my kilo fruit power, she laughed. Prepared to be smashed into 1,000 tiny pieces and buried 100 meters into the ground. Mr. Bushido, you have to get out of the way, Vivi shouted. Be quiet. I have more important things to worry about right now, Zoro barked. That was a good workout. I finally managed to digest some of that food. Luffy sighed, standing up without a scratch. He dragged Mr. Five with him, dropping the agent on the ground near his feet, knocked out cold. He fought Mr. Five and won. He took out one of Baroque Works' best agents, Vivi stammered in shock. Alright, now let's finish this, Luffy shouted, looking at Zoro. Luffy, you don't understand. You're rushing into things as always, not thinking things through, Aya shouted at him. I've understood plenty, Luffy shouted back. Luffy, calm down and hear me out. Everyone here in Whiskey Peak is really a bounty hunter, which makes all of them our enemies, Zoro explained. Hey, pay attention to me, you jackass, Miss Valentine shouted at him. You're all lying. Enemies wouldn't give us tasty food, would they? Luffy shouted. Taste my 10,000 kilogram drop. Miss Valentine plummeted down at Zoro and he stepped to the side, making the woman crash into the ground, ignoring her. Fine then. It doesn't look like there's any sense in trying to talk to you. You've made up your mind. You really are a moron. Zoro pulled his bandana off from his arm and tied it on his head. This time I'm not going to hold back. It'll be your own fault if you die. Sounds good to me, Luffy shouted. Just a sec, what's going on here? I thought you guys were all on the same side. Vivi shouted. Luffy charged at Zoro and the swordsman drew his swords, charging at Luffy. The two clashed against each other. Let's see who's stronger, your rubber hands or my steel, Udayase, Zoro asked. Yeah, let's settle this once and for all, Luffy shouted. Zoro threw his sword to strike at Luffy. Luffy quickly jumped out of the way, leaping into the air, he threw his fist back. Gum gum pistol. He slammed his fist into Zoro's face, knocking the two away from each other. Luffy crashed into a building and Zoro crashed into another building across from him as they were knocked back. Well, now what are we supposed to do? I don't know how safe it's going to be going through there, Vivi murmured. I wouldn't go out there just yet. Aya stopped her. What do you mean? Vivi questioned. Vivi let out a startled scream as she saw Luffy busting out of the building, along with Zoro, and the two started to clash again. Zoro managed to slice Luffy's cheek with his sword, while Luffy slammed his fist into the swordsman's stomach. Those two are making fools of us all in our own turf. In the name of Baroque Works, we'll be shamed if we failed our mission here, Mr. Five said. Mr. Five, we can still defeat them. We haven't failed yet, Miss Valentine shouted. Let's go, Miss Valentine, Mr. Five shouted. The two ran at Luffy and Zoro, getting ready to attack them. You can't beat us, prepared to die in the hands of Baroque Works. Luffy and Zoro turned their heads, looking at the two with a dark glare in their eyes. Shut up and go away, Luffy and Zoro both growled. The two agents stopped dead in their tracks. Mr. Five's mouth dropped open like a gaping fish while Miss Valentine shivered, holding her body. The two agents screamed as they saw Luffy and Zoro charged at them, knocking them away. You're interfering with our fight. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine crashed into the buildings behind Luffy and Zoro as they knocked them back. Damn pests, Zoro hissed, angrily. They're messing with our fight, Luffy growled. They took down two Baroque Works agents, unbelievable, Vivi stammered in shock. Shall we continue? Zoro asked Luffy. Yeah, Luffy shouted. The two roared out as they were about to attack each other. Stop, Nami shouted, furiously, punching Luffy and Zoro hard in their cheeks. The two were sent flying away from each other, falling on the ground. Thank you, Nami, Aya grinned, waving at her. You two, what the heck do you think you're doing? It's lucky for you that you've managed to keep the girls safe. You almost lost us all $1 billion Baileys, you understand? She shouted, picking Luffy and Zoro up by the collars of their shirts, like kittens. What do you mean? What Baileys? I don't understand. Why did you save me? Vivi asked, confused. Luffy and Zoro started to punch at each other. Zoro grabbed Luffy's lips, stretching them, while Luffy pushed the swordsman's face away from him, throwing punches. About that, I think we need to have a little chat. See, you and I have to work out a contract for a reward. What? Vivi questioned. Luffy and Zoro threw more punches at each other. Nami growled and slammed Luffy and Zoro on the ground, hitting them on their heads. Knock it off. Why do you hit me? Luffy shouted at her. You don't know what Zoro and L did. You're an idiot as always, she hissed at him. Luffy tensed up, going quiet. Nami sighed and began explaining to him on what was going on, that the townspeople were bounty hunters working for a group called Baroque Works, and that they were targeting Vivi because she is princess. Luffy laughed. Oh, why didn't you all say so? I figured that you just beat up all of those guys because they didn't make any of foods you liked, he grinned. WHO in their right mind would think that? Zoro exclaimed. What a funny mix-up, Luffy shouted. Guys, shut up, Nami shouted at the two. Luffy immediately went silent. She turned back to Vivi. Well, there it is. In exchange for taking you home, I'd like 1 billion Baileys. You saw how strong these three guys are. If you ask me, it isn't a bad deal. No, I can't. But I appreciate the help that you've given me so far, Vivi replied. Why not? You're a princess after all, so aren't you rich? Nami asked. Do you know much about Alabasta Kingdom? Vivi asked her. No, Alabasta is a great nation, a peaceful kingdom. At least it used to be, Vivi spoke. Used to be? Aya questioned. Vivi continued as she started to explain. Now, we're in the middle of a civil war. In recent years, signs of discontent began to appear. Finally, the people revolted, and the kingdom fell into utter chaos. The one day I learned of a secret organization called Baroque Works. I found out that our people were being manipulated by this organization. But that was the only information that I could gather about them. I didn't know what to do, so I went to Igaram for help. You see, he's kept a close eye on me ever since I was a child. Old tube-haired man? Luffy asked. Tube? Oh, yes. I asked that if he'll help me to infiltrate Baroque Works so that I could see who was pulling the strings behind the scenes and what exactly they were up to, Vivi said. You got some guts considering you're a princess. So, were you able to find out what their plan was? Zoro asked her. Vivi nodded. To create an ideal nation. Nami spoke. Vivi's eyes widened in surprise, looking at her. Anyway, that's what Igaram said it was. Is that what you found out? It's not. That was only the cover story the boss was using. Some lie to cover their tracks. Their true goal is to take over Alabasta Kingdom. I have to get back somehow to warn everybody, to tell them the truth and stop the fighting. Vivi bit her lip. Okay, I see how it is. I suppose you wouldn't have much money laying around during a civil war, Nami replied. So who's the ringleader pulling strings behind all of this? Aya asked her. Vivi's eyes widened in horror. She quickly shook her head. What? The boss's identity? You shouldn't ask that, she exclaimed. But you know who it is, don't you? Luffy pointed out. Vivi's eyes widened even more, fearfully. Asking me anything but that. If I tell you, your lives will be put in danger too. We're already in danger. So what's the harm in knowing? Elle asked her. Vivi blinked at him. I'll pass. This guy is trying to take over an entire country after all. I really don't want someone like that chasing after me, Nami spoke. I don't care how strong you people are. You wouldn't stand a chance against one of the 7 warlords of the seas, Crocodile. Vivi shouted. Aya smirked. Crocodile, huh? A vulture and otter, no one noticed until now, was sitting above them on the roof, listening in on the conversation, flew off. You had to say it. Zoro sighed. Nami grabbed Vivi and began shaking her harshly like a rag doll. Why couldn't you keep your trap shut? And where did they fly off to? WHO are they? A warlord? That's cool, Luffy grinned, excitedly. Not too bad. Zoro smiled. I didn't mean to. Vivi cried out. Luffy laughed. Being hunted by a warlord in the Grand Line, that's more than I can handle, Nami cried. So, when do we get to see this guy? Elle asked. He must be strong, considering he's a warlord, Zoro pointed out. I wonder what he looks like, Luffy wondered as well. Shut up. You. Nami growled at him and stormed off. It's been nice knowing you idiots, thanks for everything. Where are you going? Luffy called out to her. Yeah, don't you want to meet a warlord? Aya chuckled as she out to her. No, I don't. They don't know what I look like yet. I'm leaving, Nami shouted. She stopped when she saw the vulture and otter, drawing posters that had Luffy, hers, Aya, Elle, and Zoro's faces. Wow, that's so lifelike, she replied impressed, clapping her hands together. The two flew away to report them. No, wait. I'm really sorry. Vivi apologized. She'll get over it, Luffy replied. Where was she planning on going anyway? Zoro smirked. Well then, looks like the 5 of us is going to be sitting right at the very top of Baroque Works' hit list. That sounds awesome. Luffy grinned. I do have 5,000 Baileys in savings that I could give you. Vivi told Nami, who was crying in a corner, trying to cheer her up. You have nothing to fear. Everyone heard a voice call out to them and saw that it was Igaram. He was dressed up in Vivi's outfit, carrying some dummies in his arms. It's going to be all right, princess. I've come up with a plan. Igaram, what are you? That's a really funny outfit, old guy, Luffy laughed. An entire parade of idiots, Nami muttered under her breath. Please listen to me carefully. Once Baroque Works Intelligence Network learns what happens here, agents will be sent after you immediately. And since they are aware that you've learned the boss's true identity, you must. Knowing them, they'll send 1,000 agents after me. Vivi finished for him. Nami tensed up. Thus, my plan. Disguised like this, I will pretend to be you. I put these 5 dummies on board with me and I will sail a straight course to Alabasta, Igaram explained. So, these things are us? Luffy asked. A decoy, Zoro replied. While Baroque Works is busy chasing after me, the rest of you will head with Vivi to Alabasta Kingdom following us directly, Igaram told them. Hold on just a second. Who said that we were going to take her with us? We still haven't discussed the matter of payment, Nami spoke. What a second, payment for what? Take her where? Luffy asked. Where have you been, Luffy? The old man here wants us to take the princess back home to her kingdom, Zoro told him. So that's what's all this yelling's about? Sure thing, Luffy answered. Crocodile may already be after us, Nami shouted at him. Then maybe we should get going, huh? Aya suggested. Is this crocodile guy really that Ed Igaram? One of the 7 warlords of the seas. He is illegally recognized pirate and because of that fact there's no bounty on his head. However, long ago his bounty was worth $80 million Baileys, he replied. That's a lot. L said. $80 million? That's more than Arlong's bounty. There's no way. Nami shouted in disbelief. Will you do this? Igaram asked the Straw Hats. Sure, it sounds like it'll be fun. Luffy smiled. I'm in. Aya replied. Me too. L answered. The group went with Igaram. Seeing that he had the ship ready to sail out as a decoy, he turned back to the Straw Hats. We are forever grateful. Igaram spoke and looked at Vivi. Princess, please give me the eternal pose. Vivi hesitated but pulled it out, revealing an hourglass object and handed it over to him. What's an eternal pose? Nami asked. You've never heard of it? You can say it's sort of like a permanent version of the log pose. Whereas the log pose will always lead sailors to the next island on the course. An eternal pose will forever remember the magnetic energy of the island that it is stored inside it. So, it will always point to that island and none other, and this eternal pose is set to Alabasta Kingdom, he explained. And you're going to use this to set your course home, Vivi said, worried. Princess Vivi, please take the indirect island out of here to Alabasta. I have never gone that way myself. You should only have to pass 2 or 3 islands to follow the log. He told her. Please take care of the princess in my absence. Yeah, Luffy nodded. Igaram. Vivi whispered. He smiled down at her. I expect that your journey is going to be difficult one, please be careful. See you soon. Vivi shook his hand. Igaram stepped onto the ship and sailed off, waving goodbye to them. And off he goes. He was such a funny old man, Luffy grinned. He's a very reliable old man, Vivi said. A loud explosion rang out as everyone watched in horror, seeing the ship exploded before their eyes. Oh no, they're already after us. That's impossible, Vivi shouted. Nami, the log? Zoro shouted. We're all set, she told him. Get the girl, come on. Let's go, Zoro shouted. He ran off to get the Mary ready. Aya followed behind him. We gotta wake up Usopp and Sanji and Ichi, Luffy shouted, running off ahead. L ran following behind him. Vivi, we have to leave. If they get us now, it'll all be for nothing. Nami ran over to her. Vivi didn't move. Nami hugged her, reassuring her. Don't worry, we are going to get you home. I know that they don't like much but they're strong. They saved the East Blue, Baroque Works. Give me a break, Crocodile. Huh? Those guys are the ones who should be worried. Luffy barged into the bar, breaking down the door. He saw Usopp and Sanji, still sleeping on the floor. Come on, Luffy shouted, grabbing Usopp by his nose and Sanji by his shirt. He took running, dragging the 2 behind him. L grabbed Ichi by his ear, pulling him along with him. Time to wake up, L, Ichi cried out in pain. What's going on? What the hell are you doing, Luffy? Stop it, Sanji cried out. Nami and Vivi ran as they headed towards the ship. Hurry Vivi! Nami shouted. Coming, Vivi shouted. Among the wreckage of the destroyed ship, someone was floating in the water as they sailed towards the island. A tall woman with shoulder-length black hair, slightly tanned skin, ocean blue eyes with dark wide pupils, wearing a cowgirl outfit, a purple cleavage exposing corset and matching miniskirt with white ornaments, a gold band on her arm with the initials BW on it, a white cowboy hat and white high-heeled boots. A decoy? That's almost cute, the woman smirked. Hey, I got him. Luffy called out to Zoro and Aya as he walked up to the ship. L walked up, dragging Ichi behind him, who was groaning in pain from being dragged around. Bring them up. We're ready to go, Zoro shouted. Luffy looked down at the sniper and Cook to find them passed out on the ground. They're still asleep. We don't have time to look for him, Nami shouted. I'm not going to just leave him here, Vivi argued. What's the problem? Zoro called out to the two. Apparently, her duck's gone missing. And now she's refusing to leave without him, Nami shouted. This duck? The swordsman pointed beside him. He's here? The two girls exclaimed in shock. Made it here before us. Aya answered. There's another route just up the river. If we take it, we'll get out to sea faster. Vivi pointed out, climbing up the rope ladder, getting on the ship. Nami pulled the sails down and the ship began to take off. Let's go, Luffy shouted. Hey, Zoro called out to her. Vivi turned to him. Mr. Bushido, how many people do you think that Baroque Works will send after us? Zoro asked her. I'm not sure. I know that there are about 2,000 more employees in Baroque Works and I've heard that there are several bases like this one that is set up in the area. Vivi explained. They really might send 1,000 people? Nami exclaimed. Huh? Sanji sputtered, waking up surprised to see that he was on the Mary. Usopp began to wake up as well. Hey, the ship's leaving? Usopp cried out, confused as well. You're finally awake. Nami frowned, looking at the two. Hold on a second. Can't we just wait one more night? Sanji shouted. One night? Usopp insisted. This town's full of amazingly cute girls, Sanji shouted. Who knows if we'll ever have this much fun again? Usopp shouted. Even pirates deserve a vacation, Sanji shouted. We should have just left them behind. Zoro sighed. Nami slammed her fists on Usopp and Sanji's head. Nami, will you explain it to them? I just did. Nami told him. Usopp and Sanji laid on the deck, groaning in pain. Okay, that was fast. Zoro replied. I left out the complicated parts. She added. The sun slowly began to rise from the horizon as the ship continued to sail through the canal, leaving the island, passing through the fog. We should be reaching the sea soon, Vivi replied. Hey, cool. Look at all the fog, Luffy shouted. Finally it's getting light out, Nami smiled. I'm just glad that we got away from the people who were chasing us, a woman's voice answered. That's for sure. Nami agreed. With all this fog, we need to be careful to avoid the rocks, the voice spoke. I'll take care of it, Nami blinked. She turned to Aya. Wait, did you? Aya shook her head. I didn't say anything. Everyone turned around, looking behind them to see the dark-haired woman in the cowgirl outfit, sitting on the banister, looking down at them. This ship looks nice. The woman smiled, looking down at the Straw Hat crew, resting her chin underneath her hand on her lap. Who's that? Zoro shouted. It's you, Vivi cried out. I just happened to run into your dear Mr. 8 a little ways back. He didn't look so good, the woman smirked, chuckling. So, you killed Igaram. Vivi glared up at her. You, what are you doing on my ship? And how did you get here? Who are you? Luffy shouted, angrily at her as well. Answer him, and what are you doing here? Miss All Sunday, Vivi shouted. So, you know who she is? Who is she partnered with? Nami asked. Her partner is Mr. Zero, the boss. Vivi answered. Crocodile is her partner? Nami exclaimed in shock. So, she's a bad guy? Luffy asked. She is the only one who knew the boss's identity. That's how we found out who he actually is. By following her back to him, Vivi explained. To be accurate, I allowed it. Miss All Sunday spoke. So, she's a good guy then? Luffy asked. I know you knew that we were there. You were the one who told the boss that we knew, weren't you? Vivi shouted. That's right. The woman replied. Alright then, she is bad, Luffy grumbled. Luffy, would you cut it out already? Zoro hissed at him. You still haven't told us what it is that you're doing here, Vivi shouted at her. Alright. You were just so serious about the whole thing that I couldn't help myself. A princess doing whatever it takes, tile making herself an enemy of Baroque Works. The idea was just so ridiculous. Miss All Sunday explained. Vivi's eyes widened, glaring at her. You bitch. You killed him. Vivi shouted furiously. Usopp pointed his slingshot at the agent while Sanji aimed a pistol at her. Sanji, you do realize what you're doing, right? Usopp asked, nervously. Nope, not a clue. I just know that the beautiful Miss Wednesday needs me, Sanji answered. I'd really appreciate it if you would stop pointing those at me. Miss All Sunday knocked Usopp and Sanji off of their feet, sending them down to the crew. Then Nami's staff was suddenly smacked out of her hands, along with Zoro's swords. Sanji, Usopp, Aya shouted to them. You mean? Zoro sputtered. She's eaten, Nami stammered, a devil fruit. Zoro frowned. But which one? What's her power? Nami exclaimed. Wow, now that I get a look, you're beautiful, Sanji grinned. Now there's no need to get so excited. You can all calm down. I haven't been given any orders to follow you. I have no reason to fight you. A hand appeared, knocking Luffy's hat off his head, floating it up towards the woman. So, you're the captain? I've heard so much about you, Monkey D. Luffy. And you too, Monkey D. Aya. Miss All Sunday told them. Give me my hat back. You don't want me to come up there, Luffy growled. You are a bad person. I demand that you leave this instant, Usopp shouted, hiding behind Aya. The woman placed Luffy's hat on her head. Bad luck. A couple of friends at Baroque Works have already made up their minds who to eliminate. Protected by a mere handful of pirates. But your luck gets even worse, because judging by the direction of your log pose, the name of the next island is Little Garden. Miss All Sunday told them, smirking. We won't even need to lift a finger. You'll be dead long before you reached Alabasta. My hat, give it to me, Luffy demanded. I told you to leave now, evildoer, Usopp shouted. Evildoer? Zoro scoffed, looking at him. Seriously, don't you think it's a little foolish? Allowing yourselves to be wiped out? Miss All Sunday asked them, and she tossed the eternal log pose over to Vivi. The eternal pose? Using that you can skip right past Little Garden without stopping. Straight to an island near Alabasta. The post points to a place known as Nanamaneshima. None of our agents know that course, so you won't be followed, the agent explained. So, she's good after all? Nami questioned. Why are you giving this to us? Vivi demanded. It's gotta be a trap. Zoro frowned. Oh, is it? The woman chuckled. Forget your thingy. We don't need it, Luffy shouted and grabbed the log pose from Vivi and crushed it in his hand, breaking it. Vivi and Nami mouths dropped in shock. Nami slammed her leg into the Straw Hat Captain's face, knocking him down. You jerk. She just went out of her way to show us an easier course to follow. Maybe she actually is trying to help us get away, she shouted, furiously. You aren't the one who decides where the ship goes. Luffy spoke, looking at the agent. Well, that's too bad. Miss All Sunday replied. She blew up that funny old man and he was nice, so now I hate her, Luffy said. I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry that you didn't accept my offer. If you survive, I hope that we'll meet again. The agent replied, walking away as she headed towards the side of ship. No, Luffy shouted. The woman chuckled and hopped off. Everyone ran over to the side of the ship to see her landing on top of a large sea creature, riding it. What is that thing? Zoro shouted. It's not a sea king, is it? No, Usopp questioned. Whoa, a turtle. Everyone exclaimed. Wow, that thing's huge, Luffy replied in awe. That woman. I don't have the slightest idea what's going through her head, Vivi said, slumping down to her knees. Then there's no point in thinking about it, is there? Nami told her. Someone on this boat is just like that, Zoro replied, slightly gesturing over towards the Straw Hat Captain, who was watching the agent and turtle swim away. Would somebody explain what's going on? None of this makes sense, Usopp shouted. Miss Wednesday, you've joined our crew? Sanji asked, happily. Explain already. And whose ostrich is this? Usopp demanded. The bird squawked in the sniper's face. Aya walked over and started to explain to Sanji and Usopp on what happened. Usopp's eyes widened in shock. Whoa, all of that in one day, he exclaimed. Sanji chuckled. Sheesh, too bad that I missed out on all of the fun. But there will still be plenty of demand for my skills. No need to worry now that your sleeping prince has awoken. You will be safe. Aya rolled her eyes and Sanji noticed. He spoke, turning to Aya. My dear, are you jealous? He smiled. No, Aya replied. I'm sorry, but is it really alright that I'm on this ship? I'm just causing you all a lot of trouble, Vivi told the Straw Hats. It's a little late for apologies, don't you think? If you didn't want to cause us trouble, then you shouldn't have told us who you were, Nami told her. Sorry for that, Vivi replied. Isn't that right, Luffy? Nami asked him. Yeah, I'm hungry too, Luffy shouted. At least we know where we're heading to, Zoro replied. Little garden, huh? Sanji asked. I wonder what it's like, Aya asked. Remember what she said? Are we gonna die? Usopp said, nervously. Who knows? Let's go, pirates, Luffy shouted. The Going Merry continued to sail as it headed to the next island. The weather was fairly calm as the clouds drifted in the sky, the winds blowing the sails. Luffy was sitting on the railings of the ship, looking out into the sea. No snow, too bad. Luffy sighed a little disappointed, hoping that it would snow again. Zoro looked up at him in confusion. It snows in this climate? The swordsman asked. Sure, why not? Already happened once. You just missed it cause you were asleep, Luffy said, then turned to Vivi. Hey, what about you? Do you think it's gonna snow? I wouldn't rule anything out, but the sea that we were in when the first time it snowed was special. The sudden magnetic fields that emit from Reverse Mountain tend to make things particularly chaotic. But that doesn't mean that you should relax your guard while sailing these waters. The odds of it being as wild as the first storm are really small, but still these waters aren't normal, and they certainly have surprises of their own. Remember, never underestimate the sea, she explained. Sanji came out of the kitchen, carrying a tray filled with drinks. Hey, guys. Anyone care to sample my special drink? Luffy and Zoro hopped down, joining the cook, along with Usopp, L, Ichi and Kuru, each taking one. Sanji sat one down next to the bird as they drank. Hey, you guys want to get out the fishing gear? Luffy asked. Fishing? Hell yeah, I'm in, Zoro smiled. Sounds good to me. I'll even lend you one of my custom fishing rods. You'll love it, Usopp said. It goes like this. Sanji fixed the straw to make it easier for Vivi's bird companion to drink. Kuru guzzled down the entire drink in one sip. Someone's sure thirsty. Have another. Sanji placed another glass down. Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, Sanji along with Ichi and L watched in amusement, jeering Kuru as the bird continued to suck down one drink after another. Look at him go, Usopp shouted. Vivi frowned, watching the crew goofing off. They're acting like idiots. Aya walked over to her, sipping out of her drink. You know, it's okay to relax once in a while after what we've experienced, she told her. Maybe this will help. Nami held out a drink to the princess, smiling. Just relax. These boys may go through their goofy phases, but when things get rough, they get to live. Trust me, I should know. Sorry, I really don't know what's wrong with me. I'm getting worked up over nothing, Vivi told them. This ship will put you at ease. You'll cheer up in no time, Nami said. The three girls looked down at the rest of the crew. Seeing Kuru flop on the deck, from drinking too much, Vivi laughed. Yeah, funny. She smiled, not used to this sort of thing. Hey, look, it's a dolphin, pirate's best friend, Sanji exclaimed. Everyone saw a large dolphin shoot out of the water, then dived back in again. Whoa, beautiful, Nami shouted. Then the sea creature jumped out of the water, making everyone's face drop, seeing how large it was as it leapt over the ship. It's huge, Ichi shouted. The dolphin crashed back into the sea, creating a large tidal wave in its path, heading towards the ship. Luffy laughed. Let's go, he shouted. Vivi watched in shock as she saw everyone began to secure and brace the ship for the wave. She was right, she murmured. Hurry, let's move, Luffy shouted. The dolphin jumped out of the water once again, crashing down behind the ship, sending another giant wave. Get ready, it's gonna be a big one, Luffy grinned. The waves gave the ship a boost, sailing faster. Luffy looked up at Nami. Nami, which direction now? Give me a second, I'll check. Point side, full. Nami looked at the log pose, seeing the needle point to the island. The crew turned the ship, heading towards it. There's no mistake. The Cactus Island and this one here are definitely pulling against each other. This is our next stop. This is it, the second island in the Grand Line, Luffy shouted. The ship sailed, getting closer to the island with large trees and strange plants, looking more like a jungle the deeper it went in. I can see why they call this place Little Garden. I can't. What's little about it? Zoro asked. Yeah, this island looks pretty harsh if you ask me. Why the cute name? Nami questioned. Why yeah, it looks like a jungle out there. Maybe we'd be better off skipping this one, Usopp said, nervously. We need to be careful. I can't help but remember the warning Miss All Sunday gave us, Vivi warned. So, what? We might be attacked by giant monsters? Usopp asked. Who knows? Luffy shrugged. Listen, I'm sure we can make it to the next island without going to shore on this one, Usopp insisted. The only way to reset the log pose is to go ashore, Nami explained. Not to mention, we're in dire need of restocking our food supply. We didn't get so much as a sack of flour in the last town, Sanji pointed out. Guys, there's our ticket in. Zoro pointed out to a narrow ravine, leading straight through the island. Think they'll have a barbecue restaurant here? Luffy asked. We didn't come all this way for barbecue, Sanji shouted. I thought the point of this visit was to get food? Luffy asked. Food and supplies that we need to cook with, Sanji pointed out. I don't know. Usopp might be right about this one. Just take a look at the gargantuan plant life here. I've never seen anything like it, not even in books. Nami explained. Suddenly, a loud screech echoed in the air, startling everyone. Nami squeaked, covering her head. What was that? She cried out. You're so adorable, Sanji smiled. Thank you, Usopp smirked, winking at him. That's not funny, I was talking to Nami, Sanji growled. What was that screeching? Nami asked, worried. It's alright, love. It's only a bird. It's just like this jungle. Nothing to worry about. Sanji smiled. Then something came through the thick treetops and started to descend towards the ship, heading for Sanji. A very large green bird. Sanji's smile dropped a little in confusion as he saw everyone's eyes go wide. What's wrong? Aya quickly made a quick dash towards the cook. Aya, my love, you want a hug? You only need to ask, he shouted happily, holding his arms out for an embrace. Aya tackled into Sanji, the two falling on the deck. Duck, you idiot! She pushed Sanji's head down and everyone quickly ducked down for cover as well as the bird's large claws swooped down then flew away. Sanji got up noticing the bird that nearly grabbed him. What the hell's the matter with you, you damn bird? The cook shouted, enraged, shaking his fist. Ooh, it's big. Could be tasty. Luffy grinned. Suddenly, a loud noise that sounded like an explosion shook the entire island. Hear that? Is that the kind of noise you expect to hear in a normal jungle? Nami questioned. That sounded like a volcano erupting. We're all going to die, Usopp shouted. Look over there. Aya pointed out to the side of the river, and everyone looked to see an abnormally large tiger eye them as it stalked them. It's a tiger! Nami cried out. He's gigantic! Ichi exclaimed in awe. Suddenly, the tiger stopped dead in its tracks then fell on the ground, dead. What? Luffy, what just happened? I know normal but that was definitely not it. Can someone explain to me how a large tiger just keel over covered in blood? Nami exclaimed. Maybe it got into a fight with another large animal? L pointed out. Log pose and food be damned. We're not setting foot on that island and that's final, Usopp shouted. We can still reset the readings on the ship. We'll just sit tight until then, Nami said. Right. Usopp agreed. When that's done, we'll leave and never look back, Nami continued. Right, why yeah, right. We'll all just stay here. She smiled, nervously. The Straw Hats docked the ship, away from the riverbeds, waiting. Luffy's body trembled excitedly with a wide grin on his face. Sanji, go make lunch. Luffy shouted. Sanji's raised his eyebrows, looking at Luffy confused. You want lunch? Luffy nodded, grinning. Yep, and one more big pirate lunch with lots of meat and no veggies. I'm going to need some raw energy. Energy for what? What are doing? You're not leaving here, Nami shouted at him. You know, do you want to come along? Luffy beamed at her. Nami sighed, defeated. It's useless. I can't stop him, he's too enthusiastic. Usopp gulped nervously. Is he crazy? Somewhere out there's a monster big enough to grind that tiger into paste. Sanji, I'm starving, Luffy shouted, again. Right. Be patient, I'll have it to you as soon as I can, Sanji told him. Say, Luffy. Would it be alright if I come along with you? Vivi asked the Straw Hat Captain. Sure, sounds great, Luffy nodded. No, Vivi, you can't be serious, Nami exclaimed. Yeah. I'd rather not sit here with nothing to do but worry about my troubles. This will keep me busy while the log resets, Vivi told her. Out of the question, seriously. It's way too dangerous for you out there, Nami shook her head. I'll be fine. Besides, I'll have Karoo with me, Vivi assured her. Everyone noticed that the bird looked a little pale, turning a little green. Something's wrong. Karoo doesn't look too good, might be in shock, Nami said. Vivi, if you're going exploring, you need to eat. I'll pack you a lunch, Sanji said. Thanks, while you're at it, can you fix something for Karoo? Vivi asked him. Sanji nodded. Of course. You just leave it to me. Within a few minutes, Sanji came back out from the kitchen carrying a few box lunches for Vivi, who was riding Karoo, and Luffy, and tied a small barrel around Karoo's neck for him to drink out of. Now you're all set and ready to go. 2 pirate lunches for Luffy and Vivi and a special drink for Karoo. Thanks, Luffy thanked the chef. Well, see you guys later. Everyone watched as they saw 2 jumped off from the ship, heading into the woods. Vivi, what a girl. She's so brave, Usopp murmured. And just what would you expect from someone who can infiltrate the enemy's ranks? Nami pointed out. I'm bored. I'm going to take a walk. Zoro hopped off from the Mary, landing on the other side of the riverbed. Take a walk? Usopp shouted. Hey, mind if I tag along? Elle asked. Sure, just don't get in my way, Zoro told him. Elle hopped off from the ship, following the swordsman. Hey, Zoro, wait up. You know that we're kind of short on food. If you find any animals that appear edible, bring it back, Sanji yelled out at the swordsman. Zoro smirked. Okay, it's easy. I can see why you would want to send me, because I can bring back something that you couldn't catch yourself. What the hell does that mean? Sanji growled, looking down at him. I won't let that remark go unchallenged. You say that you can catch a bigger game than I can? That my hunting skills are inferior? Yeah, that's right. Zoro taunted. Challenge accepted, Sanji shouted, and, okay, winner brings back the most pounds of meat. What do you mean pounds, cause I'll bring back tons, Zoro boasted. Why don't you let your hunting do your talking for you? Sanji smirked. Good luck, cook. Zoro grumbled, and the 2 walked off, going 2 different directions to look for some food. I will never understand those 2. Why do they have to be so competitive? Nami sighed. Don't cry. If it'll make you feel better, I'm just as stumped by their behavior as you, Usopp said. We're sitting ducks. Don't you think I already know that? Nami hissed. Then her eyes widened, realizing something. Why didn't I think of that before? She left Usopp and Aya, heading inside her room. Nami, Aya questioned. Hey, where are you going? Nami, what's wrong? Usopp shouted. The 2 walked inside the navigator's room, seeing Nami in front of the bookcase, searching through them. No, that's not it, she mumbled as she pulled out the books, tossing them behind her, looking. Not this one either. Usopp walked over to her, ducking his head when a book came flying at him, and a few more. Nami, whoa, hey, what the heck are you looking for anyway, huh? Quiet, I remember reading about it in a book. Nami shushed him. Reading about what? Aya asked her. Little garden. Luffy and Vivi were exploring the forest of the island when Luffy stopped in his tracks. Hey, what's the matter? Vivi asked Luffy when she saw him pull out something from the water of the small creek. Over here. Check it out. It's a shellfish that looks like a squid. Luffy grinned, holding the snail octopus-like creature that looked ancient. Strange. It sort of resembles an ammonite, Vivi murmured. Cool, huh? Luffy said. Suddenly, the 2 heard booming footsteps as it began to approach them. Sanji was looking around for anything that looked like food or anything that looked safe to eat. I got a feeling that someone's been following me for a while, couldn't be it. Sanji murmured. He turned around, seeing Ichi behind him, with a wide grin. Can't you see I'm busy? He shouted, forgetting he agreed to let Ichi come along with him. He had been suspicious of the 2 mysterious twins, L and Ichi, ever since the 2 snuck aboard the ship. In fact, their names were strange as well, almost like code names of some sort. Were they spies or did they secretly work of Baroque works as well? However, the two didn't seem to be a danger to the crew, but Sanji didn't like the way the two always seemed to hang around Aya. Like they were expecting something. But what? Maybe it was just jealousy. Sanji shook the thought from his head. Well, if it made her happy, he will just have to deal with it for now. So, what are we looking for? Ichi blinked. Sanji stared at him as his dropped a little. Anything that appears to be edible to eat. But show it to me first, so I can make sure that it's safe, Sanji told him. Right. Okay. Ichi looked around while Sanji continued ahead. The dark-haired teen saw something move within the trees and he ventured forward. Ichi's eyes widened, seeing a long lizard-like tail, poking out through the opening between the trees. This looks edible. Ichi grabbed onto the tail and slung it over his shoulder, giving it a hard tug. A low growl made Ichi stop and turn around to a T-Rex glaring down at him. Sanji continued walking until he noticed that Ichi was nowhere around and started to call out for him. Great. Where'd that idiot go? I swear he's worse than Luffy. Sanji muttered. Then the cook heard thundering footsteps approaching behind him and Sanji turned around to see the large T-Rex, as it glared down at him like he was his next meal. Then Sanji's eyes widened as he saw Ichi hanging off from the dinosaur's tail, being flailed around like a rag doll. Hey Sanji. I got him. How about this? Ichi laughed. Sanji jumped up and kicked the dinosaur in its mouth. Zoro and L crossed paths with another dinosaur, while they were looking for food. That was a triceratops as it stared the two down. I don't know what you're supposed to be, but I'm guessing you're edible, Zoro said, looking at the dinosaur. Luffy and Vivi ran towards the loud footsteps until the two saw a large creature with a long neck and legs eating some leaves from the trees. That's weird. What's a sea king doing on land? Luffy murmured. Vivi's eyes widened in shock. A dinosaur, she cried out. Awesome, Luffy shouted. No way. This is unreal. Somehow this island has been frozen in time, stuck in the age of the dinosaurs. Traveling the Grand Line is so difficult, so no species ever migrated between the islands and their unique ecosystems were preserved. Some of these islands have developed extremely sophisticated cultures, both biological and sociological, while others remain in a sort of evolutionary stagnation with little to no progression for several thousand or tens of thousands, in this case even millions of years. I can only assume it's because of the random climates from the Grand Line that makes this possible. What other explanation is there? We're standing on the island that predates mankind, Vivi explained before she saw the Straw Hat Captain launching himself towards the long-necked dinosaur. Luffy shouted before crashing into the creature, who paid him no mind as it continued to eat. Are you insane? Vivi exclaimed. Back on the ship, Usopp and Aya were on lookout waiting for the others to come back. Usopp, Aya, Nami shouted, running over to the two who were waiting outside on the deck. Nami, Aya asked. So did you find your book yet? Usopp asked her. Nami made a short nod. Uh-huh. You look a little pale. Is everything alright? Aya asked her. Nami shook her head. This island. The T-Rex growled, turning back towards Ichi, who was still latched onto its tail. It opened its mouth, preparing to chomp down. Ichi quickly let go, jumping into the air. The dinosaur bit down on its own tail instead, letting out a painful roar. Sanji and Ichi began to fight against the T-Rex as it roared and charged at them, angrily. You're a rude son of a bitch. Sanji jumped up and landed a hard kick on top of the dinosaur's head, planting it into the ground, knocking it out. Zoro and L stared down the large beast and Triceratops glared down the two. We both use 3 swords style, Zoro smirked. Zoro and L charged at the dinosaur, swing their swords, slashing at it. The dinosaur fell on the ground with a loud thud. Back on the ship, Nami tried to explain to Usopp and Aya about the island. This is bad. This island. Nami paused. What's wrong, Nami? Usopp shouted. Do you guys hear that? Aya asked. Loud footsteps boomed like thunder as it came towards the ship, then a dark shadow casted over it as something tall leered down at the ship. Nami, Usopp, and Aya stopped and slowly turned their heads, looking upwards, staring faces to face with a giant. He was dressed in a Norse Viking outfit, wearing a horned helmet on his head, and had a large nose revealing his nostrils, and long beard. Nami screamed. Usopp froze in his spot, not moving a muscle. Aya said not a word as her eyes widened as well, staring at the giant in shock and admiration. A giant? A real live? Usopp slapped his hand on Aya's mouth, whispering at her to be quiet. The giant made a large grin as he spotted the three on the deck of the ship and began to lower himself towards them until he was face to face with Usopp, Nami and Aya. Strange. Why do I get the sense that Nami and Aya needs me? Sanji murmured. Nami backed away, dropping the book on the deck. To those who reside here and call this island home, it must seem that they have stumbled upon their very own private garden. Thus, I have named this wondrous and terrifying place, Little Garden. Well, what is the answer? The giant grinned, looking as he looked down at Usopp, Aya, and Nami. Could you repeat that? I didn't catch it. Please, sir? Nami stammered, terrified. I asked if you had any alcohol. The giant repeated again. We have a little. Nami told him. Oh, you do? That's perfect. Just one thing, it's not the drinking kind, it's for disinfecting, if that's acceptable. You're welcome to it all. Suddenly the giant turned around and everyone saw that it was a T-Rex attacking the giant. A dinosaur? Aya blinked in shock. Bragi smirked. I'm Bragi, Elbaf's strongest warrior, the invincible. He roared and sliced his axe at the dinosaur, killing it. Usopp and Nami gaped in horror, frozen in their spots while Aya stared in amazement. Now, I have dinner and the three of you are invited as guests. Bragi grinned as he turned back to the group. He blinked as he saw Usopp and Nami lying on the deck, not moving. You okay? No matter what happens, play dead. Don't blink, Usopp whispered to Nami. It's not going to work, Nami hissed back at him. Are your friends okay? The giant asked Aya. Yeah, they do this sort of thing all the time. We love to join you for dinner. Aya smiled at the giant, hopping in his hand. Usopp almost let out a squeak and Nami twitched on the deck, still pretending to be dead, also wanting to secretly kill Aya. What is she thinking? We are what's going to be on the menu for dinner, Usopp thought to himself as he still pretended to play dead, and the giant picked up the sniper and Nami with Aya while carrying the dinosaur with him. I like you. You know, you remind me of a goddess back in my homeland. I shall call you Freya, Bragi grinned. Whoa, what an amazing view. This is the perfect spot for our lunch, Luffy grinned on top of the dinosaur's head. We aren't here to have a picnic, Luffy, we need to keep moving, Vivi shouted. There's active volcanoes here, not only that. Look, there's a mountain with huge holes in it, Luffy exclaimed as he viewed the landscape. It's dangerous up there, come down already. It may seem nice but it's still a dinosaur, Vivi shouted. We have something in common, we both love to eat. The view's really nice up here. Come look, Luffy shouted back. Forget about the stupid landscape. Just off of that thing. Now, Vivi shouted. Then Luffy noticed a strange mountain far off in the distance that shaped like a giant rib cage. Say, I want to see that weird mountain. If it's not too much trouble, could you mind taking me there? Luffy told the dinosaur. The dinosaur ignored him as it continued to eat the leaves from the trees. Luffy looked down to its eye. Hey, you haven't listened to a word I said, haven't you? Give me a ride, would you? It's over that way, that way. Luffy grabbed the dinosaur's head, accidentally choking it. Not over here, dinosaur, over there. Idiot! Vivi shouted. Oh, sorry about that. I guess I got a bit too carried away. Luffy smiled, releasing the creature. The dinosaur let out a roar and more came storming through the trees. Vivi quickly hid as they approached Luffy, who stared at them in awe as they surrounded him. Wow. Luffy, I told you it's too dangerous, just get off of that thing, Vivi shouted. Hey, these other dinosaurs are much taller. That means if I jump on one, I'll even have a better view, Luffy said. That's not the point, you fool, Vivi hissed. A taller dinosaur tried to attack Luffy. Luffy stretched his arms out and grabbed it by the head and flung himself up, landing the creature's head. Just as I thought, I can see way better up here, he grinned. Vivi, you really got to try this. The view from here is the best yet, look at that. Luffy. Vivi gaped before she screamed, seeing the dinosaur eat the Straw Hat Captain. Luffy, no, he's been eaten alive. Whoa, it got dark. Then thundering footsteps was heard as they approached. A sword sliced through the dinosaur's neck, chopping it off. The rest of the herd ran off, scared by the giant. The giant caught Luffy just as he fell out and the Straw Hat gaped in shock. That was glorious. Watching the likes of you grapple with long necks was the most entertainment that I've had in quite a while. You're my first visitor in a long time, the giant chuckled, looking down at Luffy. Wow, you are huge. Are you human? Luffy asked, excitedly. Human? What a joke. I'm the greatest warrior in all Elbaf. I am Dory. It's a giant. I've heard that they exist, but I've never actually seen one before. Vivi sputtered in shock. Hi, I'm Luffy, and I'm a pirate, Luffy shouted. A pirate? Well, good for you, my friend, Dory grinned. Karoo, wake up. We have to get out of here while we can. Vivi shouted, trying to get her bird to move. Luffy pointed down to Vivi. By the way, I'd like for you to meet Vivi and Karoo. Say hi to Dory. That's great, Luffy. You just can't shut up, can you? Vivi hissed. Tell you what, you're all invited to my home, Dory grinned. Broggy brought Nami, Usopp and Aya back to his camp and placed Nami and Usopp inside of a cave filled with bones. He began to start up a bonfire to roast the dino meat. Aya sat down across from the giant, talking to him. Usopp gently raised his head to see her talking to the giant, then quickly pretended to be dead when he saw Broggy turn around. How long do we have to lay here, pretending to be dead? Usopp whispered. I don't know, but it doesn't work a damn on giants, Nami hissed back at him. Usopp let out a small scream, seeing that he and Nami were lying on a pile of bones. You're supposed to be dead, moron, Nami whispered harshly. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. There are tons of skulls everywhere, Usopp replied. And we're next, if we don't get out of here. This is the end. He's going to pick our bones clean, Usopp whimpered. Shut up. Get a hold of yourself, Nami shouted. Well, it's true. I'm not going to sit around here and wait to die, Nami said. She slowly got up when she saw the giant was looking, then quietly climbed out of the bone pile, sneaking. Usopp followed after her. Wait, what about Aya? Usopp pointed over to her, who was still chatting with the giant. Well, she's your girlfriend. You go and get her. Nami walked away, leaving him. Are you crazy? I can't fight a giant, Usopp cried out. Aya noticed the two were awake and called out to them. Oh, hey, guys. You finally stopped playing dead. Where are you going? She waved them over. Nami and Usopp froze in their spots and Broggy turned around, noticing them as well. Come and talk to Broggy. He's friendly. Nami and Usopp immediately took off, running into the dense woods, heading deeper and deeper in. It's every pirate for themselves. Wait, don't go that way. Aya called out, trying to warn them. Usopp and Nami stopped when they noticed that they weren't being followed. They panted as they tried to catch their breaths. We made it. Nami sighed. At least we got far away from that giant's stomach. Usopp stopped when he felt something wet drip on his shoulder. He looked up and his eyes went wide and he screamed. Nami screamed as well, seeing the large saber-toothed tiger. Great, we ran away from the belly of a giant right into a hungry tiger, she cried out. The two ran and the tiger chased them in the forest before loud footsteps thundered in the air, shaking the ground. Nami and Usopp screamed as they saw a T-Rex charging towards them. The saber-tooth ran, along with Nami and Usopp as they tried to flee from the dinosaur that was chasing them. I don't want to die. Someone help me, Nami exclaimed, terrified as she and Usopp continued to run from the dinosaur. Then a large foot slammed down in front of them, stopping everyone in their tracks. Nami and Usopp's eyes grew wider seeing the giant in front of them. Usopp gasped when he saw Aya was sitting on the giant's shoulder. He sighed in relief seeing that she was all right. That's good. The sniper was scared to explain to Luffy how he left his sister to be eaten by a giant. Now he wouldn't have as he eyed the dinosaur and Sabretooth and licked his lips. The two creatures scattered, running away in fear, leaving Nami and Usopp. The two stayed where they stood trembling as they looked up at the giant. We're dead. We have no chance of escaping this cursed jungle, Usopp shouted. Let's just accept our fate. Nami cried out. I see the two of you are awake at last. The meat is done, so have some in appreciation for the alcohol. Broggy grinned as he lowered himself down to Nami and Usopp and Aya. These friends of yours are funny, Freya, Bragi laughed. Freya? Usopp questioned as he whispered to her. Just a little nickname he gave me, I had told him. Go on, eat, my friends. It tastes delicious. Bragi grinned as he munched down on the dino meat. I think I lost my appetite. Nami replied. Don't be shy now. Dig in. The giant insisted. The meat is sweet, I promise you, it's quite tasty. I guess he's trying to fatten us up before he kills us. Usopp said, but it might be too late for Aya though. We can't eat it. Nami whispered back to him. That's the thing, Nami, as much as I don't want to. I don't think I have the strength and willpower to resist his offering. Usopp told her. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Nami asked. Bragi nodded. What's on your mind, young lady? How long does it take to reset the log pose on this island? Nami asked him, nervously. Bragi grinned. 1 full year. A year, Nami, Usopp, and Aya, who stopped eating all gaped at the giant in shock. We can't wait that long, Aya shouted. We'll starve to death if we don't eat for that long, Usopp said. It's over. We have to admit defeat, Nami cried. Don't tell me you've fallen asleep again. Bragi looked down at the two confused. You sure know how to cook, giant, Luffy grinned. Thanks for the compliment. The food that you had with is pretty good although the portion is a little small. Dory smiled. Yeah, I know what you mean. But the chef on my ship made it especially for this trip so I'm glad that you liked it cause otherwise I'd have to beat you up, Luffy said. Was that a threat, Shorty? Dory stared at Luffy for a minute before laughing. I like you little pirate, you're funny. Why did you choose to live here by yourself? Don't you have a village that you call home? Luffy questioned. I came from a village, a place with many warriors called Elbaf. It was my home, but I don't live there anymore, the giant explained. Why? Luffy asked him. There are certain rules in Elbaf which must be obeyed. What kind of rules? Luffy questioned. For example, if a fight breaks out and neither side yields, judgment is handed down by Elbaf's god. Whoever he deemed to be righteous will be declared the winner and granted survival as well as divine protection. Dory explained to Luffy. So this god decides? That doesn't seem fair, Luffy frowned. Fair or not, this is our battleground, and our god will decide who is righteous and who is worthy in winning both the duel and his life. We've fought for a century, but Elbaf has yet to choose a champion, Dory said. You guys have been fighting for more than 100 years? Luffy exclaimed. For a human 100 years may seem like a long time, but it isn't considered a giant's average lifespan which is 3 times yours, Dory replied. Even with all the time in the world, I think your desire would wane after 100 years with the same battle. At this point isn't there any animosity left between you or are you just fighting to fight? Vivi asked. Suddenly a volcano far off within the distance erupted. Wow, that's some explosion! Luffy exclaimed. Dory stood up and Luffy and Vivi watched him as he began to walk away. Well, then it's time to get going. Back with Usopp, Nami, and Aya, Bragi heard the volcanic eruption. A volcano's exploding. Aya replied. Bragi stopped eating and placed his food down and stood up. He had a fierce look to his gaze. Usopp noticed it. Please forgive me but there's something that I must attend to. He walked away leaving the three. You're leaving? Nami asked. No choice. That's the signal that my opponent and I use for our fight, he told her. A fight? Nami questioned. With who? I asked. And more importantly, why? Usopp wondered as well. Why? I don't remember, Bragi grinned. Before we realized it became our routine. That volcano is our marker whenever it erupts, we begin. Dory explained as he told Luffy and Vivi. It's senseless, how can you have so much hatred for someone that you'd fight them for a century? What could have happened that it made you this mad? Vivi shouted. Vivi, that's enough. That's not what this is about. Luffy stopped her. This is about honor. The two giants clashed against each other. The two giants clashed against each other, tearing down trees, creating large shock waves shaking the entire island. Dory threw a blow at Bragi who blocked the weapon with his helmet. He pushed Dory back and the two stared each other down. Usopp and Aya watched in amazement. He blocked it with his helmet. That's incredible. A couple of inches off to the right would have killed him. Usopp shouted. Every one of those attacks is aimed for their vital spots. Just one slip up from either of them and that's it, they're dead. These guys have really been fighting to the death for 100 years. That's got to get old. Hey, this is our chance to get away. Let's go? Usopp? Aya? Come on? Nami called out to them, only to see that Usopp and Aya haven't moved from their spots as they continued to watch the two giants clash against each other. Amazing. Aya stared at the two giants in amazement. They fight so seriously, and they don't even know why, Usopp shouted. They're evenly matched, Aya said. This fight's getting really annoying, Nami frowned. Don't you see, this is an example of a real battle between real men, Usopp pointed out. What? Nami questioned, confused. Maybe this will help. It's as if they each put a flag in their hearts. I am a warrior. This fight is more important than anything, more than their lives even. They can never allow the flag to be destroyed by someone else. That's why they both continue this fight for 100 years. Usopp explained to her as the two giants continued to fight. Do you see it now? This is a proud duel? A legendary fight between two dedicated warriors. Yeah, whatever. That warrior stuff doesn't really interest me in the slightest. Are you two coming or not? Nami told Usopp and Aya. No, I'm watching this fight. Usopp said. This is my ultimate goal, to be a brave warrior like each of these titans. Someday, I will be a proud warrior of the sea. So what you're saying then is that you want to be a giant? Nami joked. Moron. You haven't been listening to a single word that I've said, have you? Usopp hissed. Hey, Usopp, isn't there something that you're supposed to be watching? Nami said. If there's a village full of warriors like these two, then I really want to go there, someday, Usopp said. It's safe to say that we're both starting to get homesick here, huh, Dory? Bragi panted as he asked his rival companion. He threw another blow with his weapon. Dory deflected it with his shield. That's why I intend to end this duel of ours. I'm going to beat you and go home to Elbaf. Got that, Bragi? Dory smirked, panting as well. The two charged landed a punch to their face with their own shields. 73,466 draws. Dory and Bragi both fell back as they collapsed onto their knees in exhaustion. They're both down. Aya said. Hey, Dory, a couple of guests of mine gave me some alcohol, Bragi panted, grinning as he laughed. Drinks? It's been a long while, eh, Bragi? Dory nodded, laughing. Zoro and El were still searching around in the forest for food when a loud boom echoed in the air. El stopped in his tracks. Laughing, hey swordsman, did you hear that? Zoro stopped as well, hearing the sound as well. Yeah, I did. First that strange earthquake and now there's strange laughing sound. This place is pretty creepy. What's going on around here and what kind of creatures live here? That damn cook's still out there. Maybe he'll run into one of those monsters. Far in another part of the forest, Sanji and Ichi heard the laughing as well. Hey, Mr. Cook, did you hear those weird noises? Ichi asked him. Were those bird cries? Because the birds here don't look appetizing. We'll find something else. A chef has to have standards, doesn't matter how big it is, it still has to taste good. Something I'm sure that lousy swordsman doesn't understand. Yeah, I definitely want to see the look on El's face when get a bigger score. Ichi grinned. Let's hurry. He quickly ran off before Sanji could stop him. Wait up. Don't run off ahead like that. Sanji shouted, but Ichi was already gone, almost out of eyesight. Sanji sighed, taking a puff from his cigarette, and quickly chased after the energetic teen, hoping that he wouldn't get into more trouble. He acts more like a kid than an adult. Back at Dory's camp, Luffy, Vivi, and him were sitting down drinking and eating while the giant rested. Dory gulping down several barrels, drinking them. That's interesting. So Bragi's guests are friends of yours then? I saw a goofy-looking guy there with a long nose and two women there. That's Usopp, Aya and Nami, and they said they weren't going to go anywhere. I guess they wanted to have an adventure after all, Luffy smiled. If they're your friends, then I guess I have to thank you too for these drinks. Dory smiled back. So, Dory, tell us, does it really take a year for the log to reset on this island? Vivi asked. Yes. Didn't you notice all the mountains of human skeletons lying around here? I guess it's hard not to. The people who come to this island seem to die before their logs are reset. Some become dinosaur food. Some died from heat or thirst or starvation. Others are killed because they stupidly attack us. Whatever the case, they all died here somehow. An entire year on this island seems to be too long. So far no humans have been able to survive here for a full year. Dory explained. Luffy and Vivi both gaped at him in shock. What are we going to do? Even if we could make it to a full year, who knows what could happen to us? My country could be lost, Vivi exclaimed, panicking. She's right. Plus I'll get bored here after a year. Isn't there anything else we can do about it, old man? Luffy frowned, pouting. We do have an eternal pose here, but its magnetic link is to our home village, Elbaf. Basically, that eternal pose is what Bragi and I have been fighting for with our duel for this entire time. Of course you could try to take it by force. Dory smirked, looking down at the Straw Hat Captain. No, that's not going to work. Elbaf's isn't the place that we're trying to get to. We just want to get to the island that's right after this one, Luffy told him. Yes. We must stay on the route that's going to lead us to my home, that's the whole point, Vivi said. Yeah. Luffy nodded as well. Maybe you could try your luck and try sailing forward randomly. You could make it to it eventually. Dory smirked. Luffy busted out laughing. Maybe so, we may actually get there. Now that I think about it, someone else did leave the island before his log was reset. Dory said, laughing as well. What happened to him? Luffy grinned. I don't know, Dory laughed some more. I'm sure he made it to the next island. Luffy laughed along with him. Vivi stared at the two in disbelief, twitching in agitation. What is so funny? I don't understand what these two idiots are laughing about in a time like this. Back in Bragi's camp, the giant was resting as he was chatting with Usopp, Nami and Aya. A brave warrior of the sea, you say? What's that exactly? Bragi asked the sniper as he fixed his battle axe for the next fight. I'm talking about you guys. What I really want is to become like one you someday. Usopp smiled. Bragi blinked, looking at Usopp confused. You want to be a giant? See? Nami smirked. Usopp shot her a glare before shaking his head. That's not what I mean. I want to be a great warrior. I want to be brave and calm like you and the others somehow act, the sniper said. I see. You know, in Elbaf, even though our lifespans are longer than yours, we still think about how we will die. Everything that we have and everything that we are will one day cease to exist like everything else. But it's worth it to die a true warrior of Elbaf without sacrificing your pride. That is what we call dying with honor. To die such a great death would be an everlasting treasure. It's what we seek in Elbaf, Bragi explained. So pride is your treasure. That's great. I've decided to learn from you. From now on, I'll call you Master. Stared at him in surprise. Suddenly a loud explosion went off and smoke came out of Dory's mouth. Luffy and Vivi stared in shock when they saw Bragi fall to the ground. What? Luffy exclaimed. Old giant guy. What's going on? Why did it explode? That was the same alcohol we had on the ship, wasn't it? It exploded in his stomach. The other giant must have booby-trapped it, Vivi pointed out. Luffy turned to her. Hold on. Were you even watching their fight? There's no way they would do that. Then who did do it? Vivi asked him. Dory groaned, holding his stomach as he slowly sat up. He stared down at Luffy and Vivi with a strange look in his eyes. You strangers, it wasn't Bragi. No way. No way a warrior of Elbaf would dare so. Who else is there to suspect on this island then, besides you? Luffy and Vivi slowly backed away from him as Dory got back on his feet again. Luffy stared him down. Let's get out of here. There's no use talking to him. Vivi cried out. Luffy didn't move. I doubt running would do us any good. Hold on to this and stay back. He handed Vivi his hat. You're going to fight Dory? She gaped in shock. Yeah, I don't want to, but we have to settle this. Luffy told her as he began to crack his knuckles. Vivi watched the giant and Luffy stared each other down, getting ready to fight. Don't do it, Vivi pleaded to Dory and Luffy. Dory, please just listen to me. We don't know about the explosives in the barrels, we promise. We wouldn't do that. And you're not in any shape to fight right now, so please stop. Why should I believe you liars? Dory growled, angrily. He threw his sword down on Luffy. Luffy jumped out of the way, dodging it. Then Luffy charged at Dory, but the giant smacked him away. Luffy flew back, heading towards the trees. He grabbed them and began to stretch himself back, aiming at Dory. Gum gum. Luffy launched himself back, throwing back his fist. He gritted his teeth. I'm sorry. Then Luffy delivered a hard blow into the giant's stomach, making him stagger back. Dory let out a painful yell, spitting up some blood. The giant glared down at Luffy and brought his foot down on Luffy, stomping down on him. Vivi covered her mouth in horror. "No, Luffy," she cried out. "I see now. He has a power from one of the devil fruits, which means I've underestimated him." Dory murmured under his breath, panting as he spit out more blood. Then the giant collapsed onto his knees and fell on the ground. Luffy popped out of the ground and sat up, looking at the fallen giant. Vivi quickly ran over to him. "Luffy, are you alright? How is he?" Luffy asked her. "He should be okay. I guess you were right about fighting. He seems to be a lot calmer now." Vivi told him and handed Luffy back his hat. Luffy took it from her, putting it back on. "Well, I'm not. The old guy was right about one thing. The other giant would never do anything like this, and I know that our friends wouldn't do this either. They aren't like that," Luffy shouted, furiously. "Then who did?" Vivi asked him, wondering. "There must be someone else on this island." Luffy answered. Then the volcano erupted again. "That's the signal, isn't it?" Vivi gasped. "Well, there's the signal. It's really been active," Bragi said, standing up. "But your wounds from your last battle hasn't been healed," Usopp shouted. "Please, Dory can't be doing any better than me," Bragi grinned and laughed. Usopp stared up at him silently. "A few scratches won't take me out of the duel. That would make me a poor excuse for a warrior." Luffy saw Dory getting up and struggled to get back on his feet again. "Wait, giant guy, don't." Luffy shook his head. "You can't fight, Dory. You need rest. You'll die if you push yourself too hard," Vivi told him. "I will fight. I am Dory. I will fight for Elbaf's tribe and die as a warrior."